send it.
We got Coach Lur, we got Coach James, got Coach Trip, D-Hope, do we in the game?
From Jack White Stadium at Clearwater High School, Time Warner Communications Sports presents the opening round of the state Class 5A football tournament as the Lakewood Spartans get set to tee it up against the Tornadoes of Clearwater. Hello again, everyone. Brian Ungst here, welcoming you to Clearwater High School for the opening round of the 5A football playoffs. Brian Ungst along with Eric Keaton. And Eric, two teams at the end of the season that really appear to be heading in different directions.
Well, you say it all right there, but the biggest direction these two teams are heading right now is a playoff atmosphere. The winner moves on, and the loser goes home.
Lakewood comes in with a 6-4 record, but coming off of two very disappointing losses.
Very disappointing losses, Brian. The biggest thing that Brian Brooks' squad needs to have tonight is confidence. They lost to Northeast. He says his team went down in the dumps. Last week, Seminole didn't do them any favors. They need to jump on Clearwater tonight in order to gain back some of that confidence.
The Lakewood offense relies on a solid running game. Wayne Wells has been their leading ball carrier this year.
Their #1 rusher, a very explosive and speed back. He needs to get to the corners very quickly, and he also needs to get back some of his confidence and shake off that -7-yard rushing performance last week against the Warhawks.
Defensively, defensive end, R.J. Reed, he's a senior, getting the job done this year.
Well, Coach Brooks says his defensive line has been inconsistent, but the one guy who shows up week after week is R.J. Reed. He needs to get a lot of penetration tonight and stop that red wave rushing attack from Clearwater.
Clearwater comes in with a 7-3 record. They won their district, playing very well late in the season.
Yes, they have, Brian, and they have three things to be thankful for as we approach Thanksgiving. One, they're not playing Northeast tonight. They have the #1 ranked defense in total yards allowed, and they also have James Miller.
James Miller, the senior running back, the leading ball carrier in Pinellas County this year.
We talked about Wells being explosive. This guy's the opposite of explosion. He is very powerful. Coach Brooks says he makes people miss, and 70% of the plays tonight will be Miller time.
Now, the Tornadoes tough in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Junior Joe Holt, their leading offensive and defensive lineman.
6'5", 260 pounds. Pure power. He leads the defensive front with 61 tackles. He's the reason why this defensive line, the whole defensive unit, has not allowed a single rusher this year over 100 yards.
Lakewood and Clearwater coming your way next. The opening round of the 5A state football tournament right here on Time Warner's Channel 7. Brian Ungst, Eric Keaton, back with you at Clearwater High School. Let's go down to referee Randy Merrill for the opening coin toss.
Two of your officials tonight. We're going to call you by your shirt colors. Be the red team and the white team, all right? You're the visiting team. You'll call the coin. Ready to do that? That's the coin we're going to use. That is a heads. That is a tails. Call it in the air. If I drop it, we'll do it again. Nice and loud so you can hear it. Ready?
Heads.
He called heads. It is heads. You won the toss.
You want to receive.
You want to receive. Which way do you want to kick the ball?
The finger off the B.
Okay, you're going to kick towards the clock?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Red, line up right here and face the clock. White, come over here next to me and face red.
Lakewood has won the toss. They will receive. The officiating crew for tonight's game. Randy Merrill is your referee. The umpire is Tom Easley. The headlinesman is Larry Rorda. Line judge Bob Gallagher. Back judge Bill Dasher. And the clock operator is Dave Elmore. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sunset Stitches in the Pinellas Square Mall. Call them at 522-6267. On the other side, head coach Brian Brook of the Lakewood Spartans. In his 5th season, 20-30 overall record, 6-4 this year, 4-1 in District 5A-10, a runner-up to the Northeast Vikings, the only undefeated team. And Tom Bostic in his 18th year, Eric, 7-3. His record this year, 5-0 winner, District 5A-9, a tough win over Countryside here that we did, and as you said in the pregame show, that the Tornadoes playing very well at the end of the year.
Very well, especially on the defensive side of the football. They've only allowed 3 points in their last 4 games. And as you look at the tail of the tape, just look at the defense there, or rather the offense for both sides, an overwhelming rushing game for Clearwater. A little more balance for Lakewood, although as of late, Brian, they have really not been operating well on offense. And I like that Coach Brook takes the opening kickoff here and wants to return it for their offense to try and set a tone here. Against Northeast, they wanted to defend first, and I like them receiving the football.
David Hahn kicking deep. Number 3 is Wayne Wells. believe that's number 6, Deontay Bolden. His number is partially blocked. It is Bolden. Wells will take it in the end zone, and that is an automatic touchback. It carried into the end zone, and that's the weapon of David Hahn, the fine senior place kicker. You get that ball in the end zone, Eric, in high school football, it is an automatic touchback, and that is a great weapon.
You talk about for any special teams, whether it's the punter or the kicker, to put that ball into the end zone, not allow the other team, especially the speedy Lakewood team, to return it.
The speedy Lakewood team offensively starts this way. Donnie Davis, the quarterback, Antez Brinson, Wayne Wells, Marcelo Church in the backfield. The receivers, MacArthur Church and Kevin Barney. The offensive front, Raphael Robinson, Ryder Wooten, David Myerson, R.J. Reed, and Sean Christie. First and 10 from their own 24. The Spartans. In motion goes Wells. He'll take the toss, try to take it off tackle, and maybe a yard. We saw that Countryside game, and this defensive unit here of Clearwater that you're going to see in the screen, Eric, is awful tough to run against.
They are huge, and it all starts up front for the Clearwater Tornadoes. Casey Blanton, Tony Lillett, Joe Holt, Chad Miltner. The linebackers, a great crew. DJ McDuffie, David Enfinger, Chris Meyer, and the secondary, probably the best group in Pinellas County. Roshan Marshall, we'll get to that freshman a little later. Ali Khashoggi, his second-year starter. Boshan Mack, and the speedy Roman Johnson.
Second down and 9 from the 21. Straight back to pass. Davis on the out pattern, has his man MacArthur Church. Church trying to break out of a tackle, will not do it. He's dragged down by Roshan Marshall. He picks up about 7 or 8 yards. We'll call it a gain of 7. It'll set up third down and 2 at the 28.
Love the call, Brian. You know, we were talking about MacArthur Church and him being a very disgruntled wide receiver in this offense. And I was saying to myself coming in, I'd really love to see Lakewood throw him the ball about 10 times in his direction. Right there, just a simple out pattern, gets out in the flats and creates a short down situation. 3rd and 2 coming up for Lakewood.
3rd and 2, the lone back is the sophomore fullback Marcelo Church. They have a double slot and all kinds of movement. There was some defensive movement, but there was a lot of offensive movement, and let's wait and see what Randy Merrill tells us happened.
The dead ball foul. Ball start on the white team. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Oh, Eric, Lakewood had a 5-yard penalty. They marched their huddle back about 20 yards. I guess they were expecting a 15-yard variety.
Yeah. Well, that's basically the way things have been going for Coach Brooks' team. He says they've been having a lot of 1st and 20, 1st and 25, and here they shoot themselves in the foot. Exactly what they did against Northeast. They'd get a 1st down or short down yard situation and get a 5-yard penalty. Now it's a passing down.
3rd and 7. Wells in motion. Davis straight back. 5-step drop under pressure. The arm was going forward. I think they've called that a fumble, and that arm was definitely moving forward, Eric. Let's wait and see what happens here. They called it a fumble, and Lakewood, fortunately for them, has come up with it. That would have been a big break for Clearwater, but it looked definitely to me like the arm was coming forward from this vantage point. Let's take a look at it, Eric.
Well, he's looking over to his left. Now he's going to come back and try to hit the receiver. Yes, that should be an incomplete pass. Meyerson's going to fall on it. And, of course, big Joe Holt coming in there and putting the hit on the quarterback, Davis. But that should have been an incomplete pass.
So Lakewood fortunately got a hold of it, because that would have been a tough call there. Ryder Wooten gets it out of there. It's picked up on one bounce by Roshan Marshall, and he's buried if he loses a couple yards back to his 47-yard line. Tornadoes, however, with excellent field position for their first possession of this contest.
Well, that was only a 31-yard punt, and that was thanks to the special teams crew. They saved Ryder Wooten there. He's been pretty inconsistent punting the football. Pretty good speed back there at returning the football for the Clearwater Tornadoes, and Bo Mack and Roshan Marshall.
Nick Kirby will get the start at quarterback. Did not get a snap under center against Countryside, but he has earned the start this evening. Backs are in the I formation with a slot to the right. Labus and Miller, your running backs in the I formation. Give the ball to James Miller, right side, and he's tackled. The ball's on the ground, and I think Lakewood has come up with it. That was like in slow motion. The ball was just laying there. Lakewood's fallen on. Did they call it a fumble or did they not?
Now they've called it a fumble.
They did. That was a strange-looking play, Eric.
Very, very strange. Coach Brook was talking about how his team needed to make gang tackles, and on the first hit, make the tackle on James Miller. Take a look. He's coming up through the hole, following Joe Holt. Here comes the hit. He lost the football, causing it was going to be Raymond Morgan, the linebacker, and he loses it. and he's fumbled 6 times this season, once against Countryside and a couple times against Northeast. That seems to be his only negative, is that he can lose the football, that time because of a hit.
Spartans with a break. They have it 1st and 10 at the Clearwater 48, their second possession. Give the ball to the big fullback, Henri Davis. Henri Davis in the secondary will be very close to first down yards. He picks up 10 on first down to the 38.
Henri Davis, a big fullback. Coach Brooks thought he'd have more of the big guy throughout the season, but he's had some high blood pressure problems, and he hasn't been able to use him. But when he does, he's trying to hang on to the football there. He's done very well. There he picks up huge yardage, bringing up a second and short situation.
Second and about a foot. Davis alone back, double slot. Give the ball to Davis, left side. Davis with plenty of running room has the first down inside Clearwater's 30-yard line, marking down near the 27. Move to chains, first down for the Lakewood Spartans.
Well, Brian, you're starting to see something right now that you don't see very often against the Clearwater Tornadoes. That's a team moving the football and moving it on the ground, and it's with the big back, the big fullback, Henri Davis. Ali Khashoggi, that's almost a touchdown-saving tackle. And the previous time, it was Myers coming up with the big hit. But the linebackers and the secondary are having to make the tackle 6-7 yards down the field.
A little counter action coming to the wide side as Antez Brinson. Not much there that time. In fact, he may have lost a half a yard. Tough to run sideways against this speedy Clearwater defense. And you saw there's 10 jerseys pursuing to the football with Khashoggi on the other side, protecting deep in case somebody broke out of there.
Now, you know, it's really, you know, power on power right there, because Lakewood is a very speed team. They can get to the corners rather quickly, and that seems to be the strength as well as the Clearwater Tornadoes. They can spread out the field. They're saying, go ahead, spread it out on us. We have guys who can get to the football very quickly.
Well, let's say they spotted him and knocked him down at the line of scrimmage. It's 2nd down and 10. MacArthur Church back in at the fullback position. Marcello Church make that. Marcello Church with the carry. Church with good second effort inside the 25-yard line, spotting down near the 22. It'll be 3rd down and about 4 from there.
Marcello Church, just a sophomore, 6 foot, 180 pounds. Probably doesn't even realize that he's playing varsity football to this point. He's big surprise to him that he's on this team, and he's done nothing but carry the football, splitting fullback time with Henri Davis.
406 yards coming in, 5.7 yards every time he touches the ball. That's terrific from the fullback position, and he has 3 touchdowns running.
He also plays pretty good linebacker on the other side as well.
Yes, he does. Good-looking sophomore at 6 foot, 180. 3rd and 4. Double slot, Church the lone back. Give the ball to Wells. Wells will try to get to the outside following the offensive line. End of the secondary. Wells will score a touchdown. That's going to be a 22-yard touchdown on 3rd and 4 over the left side. Give that big offensive line credit, Eric. They were outstanding on that drive.
Ryder Wooten and R.J. Reed pulling out in front of the ball carrier, Wayne Wells. Number 78 and 50 right there at the bottom of your screen. Ryder Wooten ahead of him. And then he just almost gets run over by Wells, and Wells has the speed, outruns Roman Johnson to the corner of the end zone.
We'll officially call that one 23 yards for the touchdown. And there's a flag down as the ball was kicked up and through by Greg Taylor, the senior. Dead ball infraction. We will re-kick it.
Well, we talked about at the beginning of the contest, Brian, how Lakewood could earn back some of that confidence, and that's jump on top of them early, and they took that turnover at the 48-yard line and marched it down on him on the ground.
Well, the big fullback, Henri Davis, got it going, and then Marcello Church had a key run and finished off 23 yards away by Wayne Wells, the leading rusher. Wells picks up his 9th touchdown rushing on this season. He also has 1 receiving.
Well, no flag on the play now, and of course the kick was good.
So they have to kick it again. So Brian Brooks saying, what do we have to do to catch a break, guys? So the holder is Antez Brinson. Kicker is Greg Taylor. Kick is up. And he missed it.
Good.
It's wide to the left. So the penalty, which was not a penalty, cost Lakewood a point. It's 6-0 with 7:01 remaining in the first quarter. You're watching the high school football game of the week on Time Warner's Channel 7. Wayne Wells with a 23-yard touchdown run puts the Lakewood Spartans on the board. They had an extra point which went through, but there was a dead ball infraction supposedly, Eric. The officials talked it over and said there was no foul. They retried the kick, and he missed it wide to the left.
Those are small little things that you have to overcome, I guess, Brian. I mean, Lakewood's going to have to overcome that point, but on a bigger side is Clearwater's going to have to overcome that turnover by Miller that led to the 6 points for Lakewood.
Greg Taylor will kick. Miller and Mack, the deep men for the Clearwater Tornadoes. Ball coming up short, will hit the ground, and Miller will take it at the 15. Just gets it before a Spartan flew by him. A flag is down as he falls forward to the 24-yard line.
Wayne Wells almost recovered that for about a 30-40-yard onside kick.
And Miller was a little bit nonchalant there, kind of going after the ball. And it's a clip, and it'll march Clearwater back even further, and they will have poor field position for their second possession. You saw Tom Bostic getting set to send Nick Kirby in with the play. Well, that last scoring drive covered 48 yards, only 5 plays. They took 2:28 off the clock, capped off by the 23-yard run by that man right there, the fine senior running back, Wayne Wells, picking up his 9th touchdown rushing of this season.
And now he'll turn around and play in the secondary for the Lakewood Spartans, and the Clearwater Tornadoes are back in a hole with Kirby getting his first playoff start at quarterback.
Back at their 11-yard line. Backs are in the I formation. Labus and Miller behind Kirby. Labus at fullback, Miller your tailback. Miller takes it, looks like the same play as the fumble. This time better success for Clearwater as he wedges forward out to the 19. Takes on a couple of defenders right there, but a good gain on first down. Will bring up second down and short.
He just exploded through that hole, Brian, putting his head down and just making it happen.
The offensive unit for the Clearwater Tornadoes, Kirby, Labus, and Miller in the backfield. Kelvin Glenn, Pete Brewer, and Brian Bird, the receivers. Charlie Heiss, Roger Chatelain, Anthony Rodriguez, Brent Bingham, and Joe Holt, your big and effective offensive front. Officials timeout on the field. Clearwater player Wayne Wells having a problem with his helmet, his equipment, so they will allow him to get off the field, get that equipment adjusted or fixed, and coming on to replace him momentarily is Antez Brinson.
Well, you've seen so far 2 plays by the Clearwater Tornadoes and 2 handoffs to James Miller. They throw they rarely throw the football, and so you can look for the secondary for Lakewood to be playing up in the box a lot tonight. 2nd and 2. They are now playing an 8-man front. Give the ball to Miller left side. Miller into the secondary. Miller across the 30. Miller across the 40. Pushed out of bounds up near midfield. That was a touchdown-saving tackle, if you will call it a tackle, by Frederick Wainwright, the junior defensive back wearing number 7. Wainwright just saved a big play for the Clearwater Tornadoes, and they are capable of that with James Miller in the backfield. Just simply going off tackle, hits the hole. A great push by the offensive line up front for Clearwater, and he just takes off. And now he's starting to show you his speed. But there the Lakewood Spartans saved themselves from giving up 6 very quickly.
And I will stand corrected. Antez Brinson, number 5, was the man who pushed him out of bounds, not Frederick Wainwright, to save the touchdown. 1st and 10 for the Tornadoes from their 48. Give the ball to Miller. Hit the backfield. He is smacked by 64 Joe Goodbow. Joe Goodbow in there first, and he had a lot of help, Eric.
He certainly did, and Goodbow is one guy who really improved his strength in the offseason. And you can see some of the guys he lines up against. Here's his help: Antron Hester, Charles Robinson, Goodbow, R.J. Reed, Ryder Wooten, Andre Davis, and Mike Schaub lead the team in tackles. And in the secondary, Julian Smith, Antez Brinson, Fred Wainwright, Wayne Wells. Brinson and Wells, they also double as the running backs. A lot of speed in the tailback position, a lot of speed then in the secondary.
And a good solid linebacking core. It's going to be up to Goodbow and company on the defensive front to hold their own, to allow the linebackers to make plays. 2nd and 12. Again, the backs in the I formation. Miller, the second man through. Miller with a good surge from the offensive front. Gets back across the original line of scrimmage. Crosses midfield into Lakewood territory to set up a 3rd down at about 7.
The guy in on this tackle is going to be Ryder Wooten. And against Northeast, you know, he shakes off his Casey Blanton that time, I believe, right there, and he comes in to make the tackle, shakes off Brian Bird, and Ryder Wooten just had a horrible game against Northeast. They really keyed on him, so you can look for him to be stepping up his game a notch tonight. And he gets us started well with the tackle.
They'll call it 3rd and 5, slot to the right. Kirby, your quarterback, with the backs in the I formation. This is Labus's first carry, and he's tripped up as they try to cross him up. And a nice tackle by 22 Antron Hester, the senior defensive lineman.
Hester just holding his position. They tried to run James Miller with the fake wide outside and run Labus up the middle. But Hester just stayed at home and wrapped him up, wrapped his legs up. And I like to tell kids who watch this, that's how you make the tackles. Don't try to hit them high, hit them low.
Especially a big guy like Labus. He was averaging almost 5 yards a carry. Needed 5 for the first down, but staying home, making the tackle, Antron Hester.
Myers, the backup quarterback, he could, I was going to possibly say throw a fake here, but they might have just ran out of time.
Well, there's a penalty, and 4:05 remaining in the first quarter. Lakewood holding on to a 6-0 lead. Clearwater facing a 4th and about 3, will be about 4th and 8 now.
Dead
after
ball
this penalty.
foul, encroachment on the offensive team, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So expect Meyer now to definitely kick the ball away. Chris Meyer, the junior quarterback, defensive back. Antez Brinson, number 5. You see his numbers, averaging almost 15 yards a return. He has returned one for a touchdown this year. He's a dangerous return man. Ball will come up short, hit at the 20, and take a good Clearwater bounce inside the 10, inside the 5, and down at about the 2-yard line. Downing that ball for 51-yard punt down to the 2-yard line. Maybe closer to the 1. It's between the 1 and the 2. We'll call it at the 2. But that's a great punt, Eric, and a mistake by Brinson not to come over and try to fair catch that ball. With his speed, he might have been able to get there.
But then again, you see a short punt like that and give him the benefit of the doubt. The special teams and Myers just got a perfect role that you can ask for as a punter. And the Clearwater Tornadoes were down there to surround the ball and down Lakewood deep in their own territory.
Need to be careful here. Davis, their quarterback. Donnie Davis, the junior. Church, the sophomore fullback, takes the carry across the 5 and spins out to the 8. So good yardage on first down for Marcelo Church.
I tell you, that offensive line unit right now for Lakewood is playing probably at their best of the season. The last time they have played this well was against St. Petersburg when they surprised everybody by beating the Green Devils. And they are opening up some major holes, and they're going up the middle and challenging the Clearwater Tornado defense.
Second down and 3. On the option, Davis trying to turn the corner, and Davis will be very close to the first down. So he kept it, just made sure he got upfield near that first down marker.
They are going to call the first down. Need to get to the 12. He ran to about the 13-yard line. And I tell you, this is a huge possession right now for Lakewood. They have the lead. The crowd is silent. Playoff atmosphere. They're starting from their own 1.5, 2-yard line. If they can move this ball on the Clearwater defense, you talk about a confidence. I tell you, they will build some confidence, and Clearwater will be saying, what game are we playing in?
Yes, they will. You saw the big smile there from Donnie Davis. I'm sure he was smiling after moving the chains, getting off the shadow of his goal line, give the ball to the fullback, and not much there at that time for Marcelo Church. That's the Tornado defense we're used to seeing, trying to run between the tackles. Has not been very successful this season.
That time, Kyle Knudsen and David Enfinger plugging up the middle and just grabbing a hold of Marcelo Church. You hit him high, and I'll hit him low. That's a good teammate. Good teammates.
Second down and 8. Ball spotted at the 20-yard line. Church the lone back. Slot to either side. Play action. Davis looking deep down the middle. Has a man out there with pretty good coverage trying to get it to MacArthur Church. MacArthur Church wanted interference, but that was not pass interference. That was good coverage by the Clearwater Tornadoes. Khashoggi and company back there in the secondary.
I thought it was great coverage, Brian. You can see 3 men in red and only a couple of receivers back there. MacArthur Church wanted some contact. Ball well over his head. And you talk about a defensive back, number 5, Rashawn Marshall, only a freshman, 7 interceptions this season. That puts him at number 3 in the state. Not the county, but the state.
He has played very well for a young freshman. Khashoggi did a nice job that time, too, coming off his receiver to come back and double team the intended receiver, Church. 3rd and 8. Again, double slot. This time Davis, the lone back behind Donnie Davis. Straight back, Donnie Davis. Running out of time, steps up, firing it deep, but well overthrown. Good coverage again. 3 defenders out there, 1 receiver, Antez Brinson. 4th and 8 in a punting situation coming up for the Spartans.
Well, that time just a misread by Donnie Davis and his receiver, Antez Brinson. Brinson turned around, might have slowed down a little bit looking for the ball. The ball was already in the air, and it was well overthrown. And Coach Brooks of Lakewood said he wanted to come out here and challenge the secondary from Clearwater, and so far they've answered. They haven't allowed a big play.
James Miller, the lone deep man. Ryder Wooten will hit it from his 5. Just gets it off. It's high and short. The short man making the fair catch call. Fumbles the football. That was number 5, Roshan Marshall. And apparently he has come back up with it to save possession for the Tornadoes, and they will have excellent field position.
Just like last time, around midfield, this time deeper, around the 32-yard line. Had this one just hit probably off the top part of his shoulder pads, but he was able to fall on it. Otherwise, that would have been disaster number 2 for Clearwater.
Well, he did a good job as a short man to get himself in position to make the catch, but as you said, let it get into his pads. 1st and 10. We'll call it from the 33 of Lakewood. Nick Kirby, the quarterback, gives it to Miller. Miller trying to bounce it outside. Nothing there. Great penetration straight up the middle by the Spartans. Wooten was in there. Goodboo was in there. And also 22, Antron Hester.
I like James Miller running the football, but that time as he went to the line of scrimmage, one guy got him down low. Take a look at it on your screen. He's going to try to go off tackle, sees the hole. Mike Schaub comes in, and he's going to wrap him up, as well as Ryder Wooten. Now Lakewood's going to stack him and hold him up. And at that point, you know, I don't want to sound like a guy should be giving up, but that's when the football gets stripped from you, Brian.
Greg Taylor also in there making the play. 2nd down and 11. James Miller so far in this one. Eric, 6 carries for 40 yards. Lost the yard on that play, so he was 5 for 41, averaging over 8 yards a carry before the last play. Throwing the ball, Kirby trying to get the ball to his tight end, Brian Bird, and a late marker comes down. MacArthur Church can't believe it.
Taking a look at it, Kirby. Little play action here. Rolls out to his right, to his left. And you're looking from the backside there, and good defensive play by MacArthur Church. Bad pass by the quarterback, but a penalty.
Well, the defender was almost in front of the receiver, so I'm not even sure how that could have been interference. So that was not a great angle to see it, but looked like a pretty clean play to the naked eye up here. The officiating crew saw it differently, and it'll be an automatic 1st down inside the 20 to the Lakewood 19. And the Tornadoes, with 49 seconds remaining 1st quarter, are on the move, trying to answer Lakewood's 1st quarter score. Spartans leading at 6-0. Slot to the right. Backs in the I formation. We'll be saying that a lot this evening. Miller takes it. Miller breaking through the initial surge, but Henri Davis and company there to drag him down after a gain of maybe 2.
Well, that time, Miller hitting the hole. Had a pretty good one to run through. Greg Taylor for Lakewood comes through and tries to grab him up high. As we were talking about, you have to hit Miller down low, and he'll use that leverage. But he only picked up a couple. Lakewood was quickly able to recover and bring him down.
Well, Henri Davis filled that hole in a hurry at 6'1", 220. The junior came in with 57 tackles, and he's hard to move out of there. Got pretty good speed. Brings a wallop. 2nd and 8. Should be the final play of the quarter. Miller on a halfback pass, looking for the throw back to Meyer. Has it for the touchdown. That's going to be a 17-yard touchdown pass from James Miller back to Chris Meyer. That is Meyer's 2nd receiving touchdown on the year on the exact same type of play, and the Tornadoes have answered the Lakewood score. We are tied at 6 with 3 seconds left in the 1st quarter.
Lakewood maybe relaxing just a little bit, knowing the time's running out. Instead, they're going to go with the halfback option here. Miller plants his foot. This is a beautiful pass, probably one of the better ones that you'll see all night, and hits Meyer right on the run. The defensive back just got over there late. He might have seen the play developing, but Meyer, nice pass route, great pass, and that's a 7-6 lead.
Excuse me, Eric, extra point is up and it is through. David Hahn has broken the tie. The Tornadoes lead it by the score of 7-6. 3 seconds remaining in this first quarter. We'll take a timeout. You are watching the high school football game of the week on Time Warner's Channel 7. Well, the James Miller-Chris Meyer combination, you'd say, well, Meyer's the quarterback, Eric, and Miller's the tailback. Did they hook up? Well, they did, except it was a halfback pass from Miller back to Meyer, a throwback. And Meyer, with his second touchdown receiving on the year, has not yet thrown a touchdown pass.
No, he hasn't. I tell you, you have to love the call by Coach Bostic. He brings Meyer in there, and of course you see him, and knowing that, well, they're going to hand the ball off to Miller. They do, but then they have the halfback option. Miller threw that ball. Actually, it'll go down as a 17-yard pass, but he threw it back across the field. It was a long ways to go, probably about 30 yards.
Threw it very well.
Hit Myers right on the numbers.
David Hahn will kick deep to Wells and Deontay Bolden. Clearwater faithful here in front of us making some noise now. Another high, deep kickoff will take Wells 6 yards deep in the end zone. Try to jump up and catch it.
You try anything. You know these guys have to be miserable with that rule, wanting to run one back.
That is just such a weapon, as I said on the opening kickoff, Eric, because it's impossible. It's not impossible. It's improbable that high school football teams are going to take the ball 80 yards for a touchdown every time. It's hard enough for an NFL team to do that. And when you can kick the ball deep and keep it out of the speedster's hands and keep them from getting to the 35 or 40, that's scoring summary.
Well set up, a short yardage situation set up. Clearwater pinned Lakewood deep in their own territory. Lakewood had to punt. O'Shawn Marshall recovered his own muff on the punt, and now they're able to put the ball in the end zone, take a 1-point lead.
Should be the last play of the first quarter. Donnie Davis straight back looking for the out pattern. Has his man over here, MacArthur Church. Church with a nice grab for a 6-yard gain. Out to the 26, and that will be the final play of the first quarter. With the score, Clearwater 7, Lakewood 6. We'll take a break. You're watching the high school football game of the week on Time Warner's Channel 7. The Clearwater cheerleaders happy with the turn of events late in the first quarter as they see their Tornadoes jump in front of the Spartans 7-6 in this first round of the 5A state football playoffs. Brian Ungst, Eric Keaton back with you at Clearwater High School. Hope you're enjoying Time Warner's coverage of the high school football game of the week. I want to remind everybody, we'll be back here at Clearwater High School for the Palms Pinellas All-Star Football Classic at Largo High School, excuse me. It's going to be at Largo because of the construction going on here at Clearwater High School. It's always been here in the past, Eric. That's why I was confused. December the 16th, you see the replays right there on your screen. Look forward to that game. It's always a good one. Straight up the middle, first down yardage for Wayne Wells on 2nd and 4 as he gets it out across the 30 to the 33-yard line. Palms Pinellas All-Star Football Classic. Get your tickets, come see the game in person. And you can watch our replays right here on Channel 7. Nothing fancy there, Eric. 3rd and 4. I guess Clearwater thought they were going to go outside. They just ran right at them.
Yeah, you could have drove a taxi cab through that and charged fare on that hole. That one was huge. Wells, I really love the play calling right now for Lakewood. They're really mixing up outside running, inside running, short out patterns to MacArthur Church. They've already thrown his way 3 times tonight.
Slot to either side. Henry Davis goes in motion. Give the ball to Wayne Wells. Wells now lining up at the fullback position. A little bit of a different look now from Brian Burke. Maybe trying to confuse that Clearwater defense. That time they were not as confused as he only picked up a couple.
Well, Coach Burke talks about his running back core, and he has 6 fullbacks, tailbacks, running backs that have ran for more than 200 yards. And he says they're all like Forrest Gump. They just get the ball and run. So they just line them up, and you can line them up at fullback, line them up at tailback, Brenson, Wells. You can even throw Julian Smith in there. These are all the tailbacks, and that's not even looking at Marcelo Church and also Henry Davis, the fullbacks, who have good yardage as well. 407 and 213 coming in respectively, giving a lot of ground as Wells. He'll try to cut it back, and that's disastrous against this Clearwater defense. He's tackled back behind the original line of scrimmage. Lost about 4 yards. That's going to set up 3rd and long. Now Ali Khashoggi coming up there, and as well as David Enfinger creating things happen. You see Casey Blanton giving a chase. Myers initially has the penetration. Now Wells is wondering, what am I going to do? But Khashoggi just wraps him up, and Enfinger finishes him up for the loss. Passing situation now coming up for Lakewood.
So Lakewood was running fairly effectively up the middle. They tried to get outside. Wells gave a lot of ground with the great penetration, and it backfired.
The Tornadoes were just ready for it that time.
3rd and 11, double wing. Marcelo Church is your lone back behind Donnie Davis, and there must have been movement, because that was a dead ball infraction before they really got even into their stance.
Dead ball foul, encroachment on the offensive team. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
3rd and 16. On comes Frederick Wainwright, wide receiver with the play from Brian Brute. They'll replace MacArthur Church. So they're bringing their leading receiver out. They run the receivers in and out with the plays. Let's see if they just run it here on 3rd down and 16, Eric.
Antez Brinson also has some speed. He can get out there lining up in the slot. He can get down the field, but they are going to throw it. They are going to run it.
Toss the ball to Marcelo Church. He'll try to cut it up, but maybe back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's it. That aggressive Clearwater D. The ball came loose, but the officials will say the forward progress was stopped or the ball was dead, one or the other, but it will not be a fumble.
Big thing right now for Lakewood is to have some blocking up front for Ryder Wooten. They cannot afford to get off a poor punt again, as Lakewood just playing very conservative there, not wanting to get a little bit of that yardage back and play the field position game.
Well, Infinger ripped the ball out, but the player was leaned backwards, and it was forward progress definitely stopped, is what they called. Ryder Wooten with the punt. Line drive. Miller will take it at his 30. Now he will not take it cleanly. Picks it up and retains possession. Fortunately for the Tornadoes, back near their 28. So he went over there, Eric, tried to make the catch and just muffed it, didn't have it, but he fell on it. And the Tornadoes will get it at their own 28. 9:03 remaining in the 2nd quarter. The Tornadoes holding on to the 1-point lead. They lead at 7-6.
Well, that's just a punt returner wanting to run with the football before they have a chance to see what's downfield and make the catch first. That's the important thing. Make the catch, then look downfield and see what's going on.
Nick Kirby comes on to run the show at quarterback. The junior. 5'9", only 155. Again, he'll have his backs in the I formation. Labus and Miller behind him. Slot to the right. Labus gets his 2nd carry. Big hole up the middle. Labus into the secondary. Labus across midfield. Labus across the Lakewood 40, 30, and tackled down near the 20. Finally run down by number 9, Julian Smith. 52-yard run straight up the gut by senior fullback Don Labus, all 6'2" and 210 of him.
Well, when you see a big run like this, I want to give Labus full credit, but you know Lakewood is looking for number 2 to get the football. And Labus just takes off and shows his speed, breaks out of that tackle right there, and now it's just a foot race. And Labus showing some of his speed as well. And if it wasn't for a fine effort downfield by Julian Smith to take him down, rack up another big play for the Clearwater Tornadoes.
And a huge hole, as you mentioned, looking for Miller. The offensive line sealed it off. 1st and 10, just inside the 20. We'll call it the 19 of Lakewood. Miller takes it this time. Another huge hole. Miller into the secondary. Spin move. Miller, touchdown, James Miller. 19-yard run straight up the middle. Makes a little spin move at the 10 by James Miller, and the Tornadoes jump back out in front with 8:22 left in the 2nd quarter.
Leading the way, the center, Rodriguez, and now here's the spin move. Look at that. That is going to be on Sports Report. That'll be one of your plays of the year. You just have to love the move. Gets out of both tackles. Both guys, they tried to go down low, but Miller has great vision, according to Coach Brook from Lakewood, and that time his vision was for the end zone. Nothing was going to stop him on that run.
Well, as they jump back out in front, they were leading 7-6. They just add another score. Palm with the extra point. It is high. It is right down the middle. Add one more to the tally. And the Tornadoes now lead it by the score of 14-6. 8:22 remaining 2nd quarter. You are watching the high school football game of the week on Time Warner's Channel 7. Brian Ox there, Keaton, back with you after that James Miller 19-yard touchdown run straight up the middle. David Hahn's extra point made it 14-6 Clearwater, 8:22 left here in the second quarter. So, Eric, the Spartans strike first on the 23-yard run by Wayne Wells. The Tornadoes, with 2 runs of their own, or 1 pass play, make that from James Miller to Chris Meyer, and the 19-yard run by Miller jump out in front now 14-6.
And that last run set up by Lavis's 52-yard scamper down the middle of the field and broke it to the outside. And Julian Smith brought him down, but on the Miller's run, Smith not able to make the tackle. A little bit of lightning striking twice for Julian Smith. He could not do it 2 times in a row. Now Lakewood, this is a huge possession for them, and they're going to get a chance to return this kick.
Kickoff comes down. That's Deontay Bolden. Bolden trying to break it up. Breaks through a couple tackles. Will try to get to this outside. Needs a block. Does not quite get it. And he'll finally be run down at the 22-yard line.
Well, he ran about 40 yards, but he's going to be given credit for a 16-yard return.
He almost got to this corner. Could not quite get it turned. Did not quite get the 1 block that he needed to turn that corner.
You can see him just making moves. Cutting to his left, cutting to his right. This is nice vision as well by Deontay Bolden. He knows the guys are on his heels, and a great effort by the special teams unit on the kickoff by the Lakewood Spartans. They're being his eyes as well, trying to find him a hole and open up something for the junior.
Fine effort by Deontay Bolden. 1st and 10 from their own 22. Donnie Davis on play action. Will look deep, loads it up and fires it down the field towards Wayne Wells. Had a half a step, but the ball was about 4 yards over his head. Davis aired that out, threw that past 50, 55 yards in the air, but still a little bit too far for Wayne Wells.
Davis can throw the football about 70 yards. I mean, this is nothing unusual. They can go for the big play down the middle, the fly pattern. Well covered that time by Bo Mack. Just throw it out a little bit in front of the receiver. Davis now 1 of 4 for 7 yards.
He's tried a couple of deep ones, but has not really been close. Second down and 10. Brinson in motion, takes the toss, cuts it back off tackle. Runs into a host of Clearwater tacklers, but a pretty good gain. Gets it out for about 4 yards. Well, it should set up about 3rd down and 6. There is a Lakewood Spartan down on the field.
Watch the vision this time by Antez Brinson. Puts on the brakes there, runs into his own men. Running behind Deontay Bolden and also Meyerson there as well. Of course, he didn't lose the football. That was after the play, and there is an injured Lakewood Spartan down on the field, and I believe it is Antez Brinson. This is the same picture we saw against Northeast. Brinson down with an ankle injury, and let's see if it's that same ankle that he hurt against the Vikings.
Fine senior at 5'10", 170. He came in with 509 yards rushing. He'd scored 4 touchdowns rushing, 2 receiving, and he had an interception in the secondaries. He's been a very busy athlete this year. He's back on his feet, which is a good sign. Of course, in high school football, he needs to come up for at least 1 play after an injury.
3rd down and 5 situation now, Brian, and Lakewood has to keep this offense on the field. Down by 8. They need to get a drive going. They know they can move the football against Clearwater. They've done it in the 1st quarter. They've had great play calls, and they need to come up with something now. That out pattern to MacArthur Church. He's got the height advantage out there on Roshan Marshall. Top of your screen.
3rd and 5. Wells goes in motion. Donnie Davis straight back under some pressure, steps up, fires a strike, and he has a 1st down. And he stood there as he had big 77 Joe Holt bearing down on him. He knocked him to the turf, but not until he picked up the 1st down with a well-thrown ball.
Well, you know, they say the A train plays for the Bucks, but this time Wells could hear him, number 77, coming. But a beautiful pass. That's great concentration, Brian. He stayed in the pocket and delivered a perfect ball to keep this drive alive to Brinson.
Actually, I think that was Deontay Bolden, number 6, Eric.
Yeah, you're right.
His 5th reception of the year as Brinson went out for the 1 play on the sideline. 1st and 10 from the 36. The big fullback, Davis. Ball scored for a couple. 84 on the bottom of the pile, Chad Miltner. Shad had 72 tackles and 7 of those super plays that Tom Bostic talks about coming into this one.
Oh, you have to love the super plays. Big tackles for losses, but sometimes they're not just a regular tackle for a loss. They're one that might have saved a touchdown. They're a tackle that might have saved the drive to keep it alive. So super plays are, you know, any definition that Coach Bostic. Heck, you might even see a new super play created tonight.
2nd and 8, here's the option. Davis will keep it. Davis weaving his way close to the first down marker, gets it out across the 46-yard line. It'll depend on the spot as to whether they will move the chains. In finger on the tackle for the Tornadoes.
Running the option here. Davis keeping his head down, knows where the first down yard marker is, dives to it, and they give it to him. First down now for Lakewood.
Out to the 46. 1st and 10 for the Spartans. 6:08 and counting remaining. They trail it by 8 at 14-6 here in this 2nd quarter. Henry Davis, the lone back behind Davis, who goes straight back out to the flat, has a man out there. Big stick. And that's number 5, Roshan Marshall with the stick.
Playing the zone defense, the Clearwater Tornadoes. MacArthur Church runs an in pattern. Running the out is Wayne Wells, and Wells turns around and says, "Oh, it's nice to meet you, Roshan." Roshan makes a nice tackle, keeping his head down, but hanging on to the football as Wells, and they pick up about 6.
That was a good job to hold on to the football by Mr. Wells, because when he turned around, that helmet came right in there where he was holding the ball. 2nd and a long 4. Straight up the middle. Henry Davis has a first down across the 40 down near the Tornado 35. Bursting right up that middle. Give him a gain of about 13 to move the chains.
You have to love Henry Davis. We said at the beginning that for tonight, some seniors, this will be their last game that they play. Davis, a junior, working for his teammates.
And
now Clearwater wants to call a timeout, Brian.
They've seen enough. Tom Bostic's seen enough. Going to send Rick Rodriguez, the defensive coordinator, out to talk to the guys and get things settled down, because it looked like they had Lakewood bottled up a little bit there at the end of the 1st quarter, beginning of the 2nd. Now all of a sudden the Spartans ripping off some big plays to try to get back into this thing and get close to tying it up going into halftime.
Well, Brian, we talked about this possession being a big one for Lakewood, because now they find themselves down by 8 points. They converted on 3rd down. They're mixing it up with some options, some out patterns, you know, running the receivers on different routes, and then they always have that fullback going up the middle, whether it's Church or also Henry Davis. And they've been getting very good yardage from going up the middle. That time Joe Holt made the tackle, 6'5", 250-pound junior, downfield. And you talk about Joe Holt, one guy that he's definitely making happy when the season comes to an end for football is the head coach of the basketball team, Rudy Coffin. He's going to make Rudy one heck of a power forward.
Rudy doesn't like those basketball players playing football. 1st and 10 at the 35 for Lakewood. Davis straight back with some time. Will fire it deep. Has a man wide open. He overthrows him by 3 yards. MacArthur Church was about 5 to 10 yards behind the secondary. It was a broken coverage. And Davis again just let it fly too far. You got to take a little bit off of that one, Eric.
Yes, you do. But I think you see a receiver that time so open, and you get really excited being a young man back there in the pocket. But MacArthur Church is not excited. He's just thinking that he just saw 6 go right over his head, and right after the play, Donnie Davis put his head down, and he knows that he made a mistake there, led his receiver a little bit too much.
2nd and 10. Let's see where they put it up again or run it this time. Davis is the fullback behind Donnie Davis. He takes the carry into the secondary. He'll have another first down. Bounce it to the outside, inside the 20, fighting his way all the way down to the 16-yard line. Impressive running by the 220-pound junior fullback Henry Davis here in this 2nd quarter.
Tell you, 20 yards on that carry. Henry Davis that time showing a little burst of speed, breaking this one to the outside, trying to hold on to that football, making his moves and breaking tackles that time, getting into the secondary. Khashoggi can't hang on, and finally Bo Mack holds for the rest of his teammates to take down the burner. I'll call Davis a burner. That time he almost broke that one outside.
Ball at the 16-yard line. 1st and 10 from there for the Spartans. Give the ball. They'll keep it now on the option. Donnie Davis inside the 5. Donnie Davis down near the 2-yard line. Maybe near the 1. What a burst up. He saw that hole, Eric, and he got downfield in a hurry.
I tell you, he had us fooled, and he had the Clearwater defense fooled as to who had the football. Great fake up the middle that time, and Donnie Davis just running the option. The hole is huge. You see players falling down, and then Davis taking on the secondary, putting his head down, trying to get it into the end zone, brings up 1st and goal for Lakewood. This is a great drive for the Spartans.
The ball at the 1-yard line. Marcelo Church is the fullback behind Donnie Davis. He'll take the carry left side, stood up, backing in, touchdown Marcelo Church, 2nd effort. And the sophomore is in the end zone, and the Spartans add 6 more to the tally. They now trail it by 2 at 14-12.
I tell you, that nice push that time. They only need to go about 1.5 yards, Brian. But the guys up front are doing it for guys carrying the football like Marcelo Church. You can see Enfinger and also hanging on Chad Miltner. But Church just spinning his body around, not giving up. You don't hear the whistle, you keep playing, and he's able to turn around. And I would suggest or think now that Lakewood would go for 2, obviously now being down by a couple.
They'll call a timeout because they didn't have their full complement of players on the field. Some of the players probably thinking they were going to kick, but obviously they go for 2 here. Brian Brooks going to come out and talk to his team. Now look at this play. Looked like he was stood up at that 2nd effort. He turns his back. I guess I must have saw Mike Allstott do that last year against the Vikings.
Yeah, and this past week on Sportsline, we were talking how we'd like to see Mike Allstott do that again. And tonight, on the high school level, the rushing attack, churning up the yards against Clearwater. No back may reach 100 yards tonight unless one of them breaks it, but they are, as a team effort, really moving the football on them, Brian.
Well, they run that double wing. It's sort of a version of the wing T offense. And they have wing backs, they call them, but they become running backs and they go in motion, and the fullback carries the ball a lot, but they spread the ball around. It's not like in Clearwater's offense where the tailback gets it a lot and the fullback blocks in the I formation. Everybody carries the ball, and that's why you don't get a 1,000-yard rusher often in an offense like that, but you get a bunch of guys with 200 to 500 yards every year.
Well, Coach Brook had his team out around the 25-yard line, well away from the football for this 2-point conversion. I like the out pattern from MacArthur Church, or possibly the option running by Donnie Davis.
Now Clearwater will call timeout after Lakewood comes out in their formation as Coach Rodriguez out in the huddle. Or I guess, you know, it looked like he may never have left.
I don't think he left,
Eric, and so he's going to call another timeout. I want to remind you to join my partner Eric Keaton every Tuesday night 7 to 9:30, Wednesdays at 5 and 7:30, and Thursday at 6. When doesn't it air? For Sports Report, what are we going to see this week?
Well, what we're going to see is 2 weeks from now, we're going to have our prep football special. And next week, we're actually going to Keswick Christian for the Senior Series All-Star game. So we'll have no sports report in the following week. We're going to have some prep basketball to talk about.
So we'll have the finest senior volleyball players in the county going out at this Tuesday down at Keswick Christian. We'll be out doing that instead of Sports Report, but you can catch Eric and all the highlights from around Pinellas County a week from Tuesday right here on Channel 7. So we'll get this 2-point conversion tried here sometime. A couple of young fans enjoying this beautiful evening for high school football. 4:13 remaining. Lakewood will try to tie it with this 2-point conversion. Double slot, the lone back behind Donnie Davis is Marcelo Church. Brinson in motion. Run the option. Church takes it, will not get there. Tackle back at the 5. First man in there was number 6, Roman Johnson, and he had a lot of help. The Tornadoes running to the football, running the option down.
Well, call me crazy here, Brian, but for a second there, I thought that Antez Brinson was going to stop and throw the football. You see him take the pitch. Maybe he's just making his cut. See him look up there? I guess he's just looking to make his cut, and a nice tackle that time by Roman Johnson. He'll obviously get a super play on that one from Coach Bostic.
He will. I did too. I thought it looked like he was going to throw, but there was no receivers downfield. So as you said, he was just trying to. He knew there was nothing there. He was trying to find a seam, but Clearwater with good team defense, running to the football. That's not a bad call by Lakewood. You've got 2 good athletes with speed, but the Tornadoes that time were up to the challenge. It remains 14-12 Clearwater with 4:13 left here in the second quarter. Type of football game we thought it might be, Eric.
Yes, certainly. Lakewood keeping up with their goals. Come out here, stay in the football game, play a full 48 minutes, score some points, get on top. They're back into their offensive rhythm now. They only scored 6 points against Seminole, none against Northeast. And, of course, Clearwater doing what we knew they would do. It'd be Miller time.
Greg Taylor with a kickoff. Taken by Bo Mack. Bo Mack across the 20. Bo Mack looking for some room, cuts it back, and Bo Mack will run into Wayne Wells out near the 35. He drives forward to near the 39-yard line. If he gets by Wells, he's still running.
That's true, and Bo Mack, a very versatile athlete for this team. He can play a little bit of running back, played a lot more at the beginning of the season, but once Miller started to take off, and you see here, he lets Miller get in front to use his blocks. Bo Mack has 4.3 speed, very quick. That's why he's in the secondary, and Coach Bostic loves to use him there and also use him on special teams for returns.
Well, it was a good cutback because he saw no one there. Wayne Wells was sort of coming in out of the corner of his eye, and if he got by Wells, he's taking it the distance or deep into Clearwater or Lakewood territory. Clearwater, the 1st and 10, will call it from their 39. Miller, the second man through, spinning forward. Now to about the 42-yard line. Tackle made by Greg Taylor.
Greg Taylor also doubling as the kicker. It's one thing you have to love about high school football. You have guys out there that, like a Ryder Wooten for Lakewood, who's their punter and make tackles. Look at the blocking up front. 2 guys bearing down on Corey Crumbly, and Miller just trying to get through and break tackles. A tornado warning. Look at James Miller, the records that he set this year, Brian, for Clearwater, especially that big game rushing against Seminole, 329 yards, and here he goes.
He'll cut it back, and he'll fall forward near midfield for another first down as he's just into Lakewood territory. Give him a gain of 8 yards and another first down for James Miller and the Clearwater Tornadoes. Well, you get back to talking about the Lakewood kickers, Eric, because this is a great run and block here. You can't make a lot of, especially in the pros and college, they make fun of the kickers because they didn't do anything. Well, both the Lakewood's kickers, their punter and their place kicker, both play linebacker. So you can't make fun of those guys. They're in there sticking their helmet and making plays.
Exactly. And then also you have Daniel Williams, who's plays secondary. He's only 5'4" for Seminole, and he's their punter. And I asked him at the end of that game, I'm sure you don't want to be a punter. He's like, hey, whatever the coach asks me to do.
There's a counter play. Roshan Marshall to the outside. Marshall will have another first down to about the 39-yard line as he picks up 10. And he'll move the chains once again for the Tornadoes. So misdirection on the counter, fake it one way, run it back the other.
Try to fake it up there to Labus, it works. And then Roshan Marshall, maybe only be a freshman, he can run with the football as well. If Bo Mack doesn't get it, then he's going to get it, or James Miller when they're returning. So he has great speed on the outside, and he can get to the corner as well. I tell you, it's going to be great to watch him for the next 3 seasons.
And that's definitely a surprise to Lakewood because he did not even show up on our stats as running the football for any yardage at all this year. 1st and 10 from the 39. Offset eye this time. Labus and Miller are the backs behind Kirby. Give the ball to Labus on a counter play. Labus taking it back the other way, trying to get by Wayne Wells. Drives him down inside the 30. He picks up 9 more yards as Clearwater Tornadoes on the move with 2:20 and counting left in the half.
And Wayne Wells pulling on his jersey, trying to hang on, might want about 3 yards in his book for hanging on for the ride as well on the offensive side of the ball. But Labus here thought about cutting it inside, tried to stiff arm Wells. Wells now just hanging on. Labus pulling him down there inside the 30-yard line, very close to a first down, Brian.
Yeah, they gave him 10. As you saw, he definitely fell down inside the 30, so they'll bring the chains all the way across the field to check to see whether he did get enough for another first down. Clock stopped with 2:17 remaining here in a very entertaining first half of high school football. The opening round of the 5A state tournament. Stretch the chains, and it will not quite be enough. Got maybe 6 to 8 inches to go. And it'll be 2nd and short.
Well, Brian, before the game, we were talking about Clearwater, you know, a one-dimensional team. You know, so far tonight, they've pulled out the stops. They're giving Labus the ball a little bit more. You see what he's done on the evening. He got 52 of those yards on a run that set up Clearwater's last touchdown.
That's only 22 yards of carry for a 210-pound fullback. Came in averaging just under 5 yards of carry. Mark it at the 29. 2nd and a very short. See whether Tom Bostic goes with the hard play action and puts it up, but Clearwater doesn't throw the ball much. They will probably just run it. Split the backs this time. Labus and Miller.
Well, they have Sam Dolan, who will line up at the top of your screen, and you were talking about not having stats. He's a 5A wide receiver. A senior, we don't have any stats on him, and giving him covering him out there. Well, be a Lakewood defensive back, and they are going to run it this way.
Miller to the short side, faked the pass, and don't know if he got the first down. I think he was driven out of bounds, maybe for a loss. So they tried the short side toss, and with Lakewood's speed, that's a tough play to run. And it proved that it was tough to execute as they lose about a yard. It'll be 3rd down and maybe 1 or 1.5.
Takes the pitch, thought he could hold the defense right there for a second, but he did lose some yardage on that. Did not fool Lakewood at all. They were ready for it, especially run to that short side of the field. Of course, now with number 2 back there, you can expect he'll get the football running straight ahead.
Offset eye. Look for him to take it off that left side. Kirby calling the signals. Tosses it off the left side, and they will move the chains. I think Ryder Wooten filled the hole quickly. I think he may have gotten just enough, but they'll take a close look at it, Eric.
Yeah, they pitch it. Moving to your right on the television screen. Miller's left. Comes up and filling the hole nicely that time. Mike Schaub and also Ryder Wooten making the tackles. We talk about the linebacker core, really the catalyst of this defensive unit, and they're going to come out for another measurement.
They'll bring him out one more time. I'll stand by my initial call. I think he got it. Let's see.
I think he got it too. If he didn't, at 4th down and with 150, you know that Clearwater's going to go for it.
He got it by about 3 or 4 inches. Good close, as you mentioned, by both the linebackers. However, Schaub on the bottom and Wooten up top to bring down the 200-pound Miller. When it looked initially like he would easily get the first down.
Well, the name of this game so far has been field position for Clearwater. Lakewood's had to go a little bit farther for their scores, minus the first one they had on the turnover by Miller when they went in for about 30 yards out. And now Clearwater, they're hoping to use the rest of this clock because they'll get the opening kickoff to start the second half as well, Brian.
Yes, they will. If they can punch a score in here, they're going to put a lot of pressure on Lakewood to stop them and get some field position in that 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line of Lakewood, 150 and counting now remaining in the 2nd quarter. 14-12, the Tornadoes up by 2. Miller, 12 carries for 73 yards. Backs this time in the I formation. Run blitz coming. Miller cuts out of it. Miller spinning forward inside the 20. Dives down to about the 16. The ball was down. They'll spot it for 17. That will be another 1st down. 12 yards and a 1st down for the Tornadoes.
Went to that spin move a little too often there, Brian, but another nice run by Miller. Moving in behind his center. Had it to play, moving to its left, and he broke it back across the grain and just tried to dive a few extra yards.
Lakewood now will call a timeout. They want to settle the defensive unit down because the Tornadoes have been ripping off 10 yards at a crack almost, Eric, throughout this entire drive. They've had a lot of 1st down runs that have gone for 10, 11 yards to move the chains.
And especially on 1st down for Clearwater. On short yardage situation, Lakewood's been able to come up and stop, but on 1st and 10, on 2nd down and 5, Clearwater has been getting chunks at a time, and they're creating good yardage situations for their team. You know, you want to have a short yardage situation on 3rd down. You want on 1st and 10, you want to get good yardage to set yourself up, and that's what Clearwater's doing, and Lakewood hasn't been able to stop it.
And there was some concern from some of the Lakewood faithful to see Tim Hoffman. Well, what a tough job that guy's got down there with the cheerleaders. Doing a great job as usual. Working for his fries later on at Capone's. Of course, you know when the helmet cam's not out yet because this game is long from being decided. When it comes out, and it's down on Tim's camera, there's Al Capone's dugout, proud sponsor of the 1995 Class 5A District 9 champion Clearwater Tornadoes. 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. Miller to the short side. Miller down near the 10. Another good gain on 1st down, Eric.
That's what we're talking about, and you know, you can talk about that offensive line as well, creating the holes and trap blocks for him, but also check out Lavis. Ryder Wooten coming flying in, picks him up and forces him to the outside. Wooten misses the tackle, and Miller able to pick up yardage.
Quick hitter out right through the hands. Kirby threw the ball well, but right through the hands of Sam Dolan, the senior, down near the 5-yard line. That would have been a 1st and goal. And that'll bring up 3rd and 4.
I think Lakewood would love to see Clearwater pass the ball more, as long as they don't do the Miller option, as they did for a touchdown this evening. Throwing it back to Myers. But
Well, needless to say, big play right here for both teams. Wide slot to the left. Labus and Miller, the backs in the I formation behind Nick Kirby on 3rd and 4. Miller straight up the middle, hitting the backfield, but spinning forward. Is the ball loose?
I think he might have fumbled him for a first down.
Doesn't matter. It's going to be a 1st and goal as the Tornadoes have come up with a 1st and goal from the 4 for Clearwater. Let's take another look from the end zone.
See Miller coming up. Does that dive. That wouldn't be a fumble because the ground would have called it. Quickly back to the... And they're going to spike it down, Brian.
Kirby just spikes it.
Used to be you weren't allowed to do that in high school football.
You do that at every level, I believe, now. The rules changed a year or 2 ago. 2nd and goal from the 4.
I was saying earlier, in short yardage situations, Lakewood's been stepping their game up in the front. Well, this is where they need to do it. They need to hold Clearwater to a field goal attempt here going into halftime.
Give it to Miller. Big hole left side. Touchdown, James Miller. 4-yard run off the left side. 6 more points on the board for the Tornadoes. They now lead it by the score of 20-12.
Well, you talk about Miller tonight. 16 carries for 102 yards. Just takes the handoff, running right at the back of that offensive line. You talk about some of those guys, Joe Holt. You also have Brent Bingham, the center. Anthony Rodriguez and Charlie Heist also getting a good block in there as well.
David Hahn on to attempt the extra point out of Kirby's hold. Kick is up, and it is through. 43 seconds left here in the 2nd quarter. 21-12. The Tornadoes now lead it by 9. It's been the James Miller show, Eric. He's thrown for a touchdown, and he's run for 2 scores for the Tornadoes.
Well, he also scored 6 touchdowns in the last game of the season, setting a Clearwater Tornado record. And we were talking about some of his numbers. He's tied for 9th in the state for running the football. And, you know, as I said earlier, that's not the county, that's the entire state of Florida. And there's almost 400 schools that have a football program. So that says a lot for James Miller.
It sure does, because there are some great running backs every year in the state of Florida, that a number of which end up on the Division I level, a number of others on the 1AA level. And there are usually a lot of players up there near that 15 to 2,000 yard mark. They coming in a little bit over 1,600 yards, had a fine season. And it wasn't like he surprised anybody, Eric. Everybody knew most of the time he was going to carry the football, which makes it even more difficult. Hahn's going to just roll this one. Takes a nice bounce. Marcelo Church has it at the 19. He'll try to break it outside, and he gets up to near the 30. And the Spartans will have about 37 seconds with which to work here at the end of the 1st half.
Well, Lakewood, very quick team, 37 seconds. Do not turn the ball over. Try to make something happen. You're already down by 9, and you're going to give the football back to Clearwater to start the 2nd half. And that man right there, James Miller, obviously will be getting his touches. And you see what he's done on the evening. He has ran for a couple touchdowns. And that last one, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. The previous drives were only around a minute and also 40 seconds.
Wayne Wells takes it off the right side, spins forward for a gain of about 4, and apparently the Spartans now will just run the clock out.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to keep the conservative point of view and say we're happy being down by 9 points.
We'll go in and regroup. As you mentioned, Clearwater will have the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Davis now will go straight back. Tries to swing it out to Deontay Bolton, and will stop the clock with 10 seconds.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. You always say, Eric, you're very aggressive, but if you're going to throw on 2nd down with 10 seconds left, why not throw on 1st down? And if you don't complete the pass, then run the football.
Or throw it downfield, because that's a dangerous pass. I mean, it wasn't dangerous the way he threw it. He threw it well over their head, but he did stop the clock. And if they stop the clock here, they'll have to kick it. And Clearwater's been close to blocking a couple of Ryder Wooten's punts already in this 1st half.
3rd down. And
Davis will keep it, rolling to the right. Going to throw it back across the middle. Almost intercepted by Meyer right through his hands. 3 seconds left in the half. And Lakewood will have to punt it. See whether Brian Brook puts one of his athletes back there. Davis just tells him to run around for 3 seconds and take a knee.
Yeah, definitely.
But if he takes it too soon, if he takes it too soon, Eric, then the clock will stop and they'll get the ball.
And Hahn could make a field goal from around the 30, 35-yard line as well. Well, on 4th down, it looks like they're going to run a play.
Yeah, they're going to put Davis back in the shotgun and just tell him to run around.
If he could actually run back for the goal line and time would run out.
And they'll just fire it deep. Take a chance. The old Hail Mary, and it's broken up, trying to get it down to Wayne Wells. Good coverage downfield. Looks like number 5, Roshan Marshall, who's down. That's the final play of the first half with the score, Clearwater 21, Lakewood 12. We'll take a timeout and be back with our halftime show. You're watching the high school football game of the week on Time Warner's Channel 7. Brian Oxdare Keaton back with you at Jack White Stadium at Clearwater High School. Halftime with the Tornadoes leading at 21-12. Opening round of the 5A state football playoffs. Let's take a look now at the halftime highlights. Wayne Wells on the counter, Eric. Break it to the outside, get some good blocking. He'll take it 23 yards.
Well, Lakewood earned this possession after James Miller turnover on Clearwater's first touch of the ball game, and then Wells just beating the Roman Johnson, the defender, to the outside.
They had to kick the extra point twice, and the second one was no good. It was 6-0. Toss the ball to Miller. He's going to run it, right? Nope, he's going to turn around and throw it back to Chris Meyer. What a beautiful throw.
I tell you what, about 30 yards in the air, hits Myers right on the numbers as he goes in, beats MacArthur Church to the ball.
Chris Meyer with the touchdown. Extra point is good at 7-6. James Miller, 19 yards straight up the middle. Great move right there.
Yeah, this drive was set up by Don Labus. His 52-yard scamper got him in position, and then Miller with a great spin move to get into the end zone.
Extra point by Hahn makes it 14-6. Marcelo Church from the 1 turns his back and takes it in for the score.
We were talking a Mike Allstott type run, just not giving up and pushing his way into the end zone to bring Lakewood back within 2.
2-point conversion was denied. It's 14-12, and then 4-yard run just before the half. 43 seconds left by James Miller, makes it 21-12.
I tell you, Miller, that's just tough yards, just banging heads down there, just lowering his head, knows where the end zone's at, and getting in.
Well, how many times have I said this year? The stats are fairly even, and they are, but the 1 turnover is on Clearwater's side, so that really hasn't affected the outcome of the scoring, and it's a pretty close game right now, and pretty close in statistics.
Well, a couple things that stand out for me. You look at the yards, and yes, you could say they're close, but Clearwater really has moved the ball at will besides the 1 turnover, and they have punted once. Lakewood, 142 rushing yards. That's the most this season against Clearwater.
And the first turnover did get to a touchdown for Lakewood. Their 6-0 lead. We'll take a timeout. Be back with second half action. 21-12, your score at the half. The Tornadoes lead it by 9. Brian Oxdare Keaton back with you at Clearwater High School, getting set to start the second half of action. Nick Kirby, Chris Meyer on the sideline, talking to head coach Tom Bostic. One of them will be able to lead the team here to begin the second half as the Tornadoes will receive the kickoff. Greg Taylor will be kicking it deep to James Miller or Beauchamp Mack, both standing back near their 5. Tornadoes lead at 21-12, but a whole half of football left to see who advances into the next round of the 5A state football tournament. Taylor kicks a ground ball. Will come up to Mack at the 16. And Mack runs into Wayne Wells again as he gets it out to about the 35. So twice now, Mack has run into Wayne Wells about the same spot on the field on kickoffs. And the Clearwater Tornadoes with pretty good field position to start this second half.
Well, once again, Brian, and to look at James Miller's stats on the evening, a couple touchdowns, threw one to Chris Meyer. And Clearwater has scored 3 touchdowns in their last 3 possessions, so Lakewood needs to have a stop here.
Nick Kirby under center, sends a slot to the right. Backs Labus and Miller in the I formation behind him. One blitz coming from Lakewood. Miller spins out of it, but cannot break the tackle of Andre Davis. Andre Davis had a big first half, both from his linebacker and as a substitute fullback.
Davis takes him down for about 2 to 3 yard loss, and he just worked off of the outside linebacking position. No hole there, spinning out of the move there, and Davis just comes leaping over and makes the tackle. Wraps up Miller pretty nice.
And Sean Hester, the first penetration, forced him to bounce it to the outside, got a little deeper than he wanted to, and Davis flying in there to fill the hole and make the tackle. 2nd and 12. Trips to the wide side. The lone back is Labus. Nick Kirby straight up the middle to Labus. Labus out across the 45. That'll be very close to the first down. He picked up 12 yards, and that's exactly what he needed. Let's see where they spot it. And they'll call it a first down.
I tell you, they're just opening up holes there on the front line. You can see guys moving them out of the way. Chandlin, Rodriguez, as well as Knudsen in the game.
Good look at Don Labus. And there was some concern in the Lakewood camp coming in, Eric, about whether the front four, especially of Lakewood, could handle this real strong offensive line of Clearwater.
And so far,
it's been a challenge. Labus again. This time they stop him after a gain of a couple. On the bottom, Andre Davis again had some help from Joe Goodboo.
Well, they're starting to realize that Miller's not going to be getting the ball all that often, and you hope that Lakewood can make some adjustments, being able to recognize that they're going to give that little quick hitter up the middle to Labus. That's probably his shortest carry on the evening.
It's either a long 3 or a short 4, depending on what you want to call it. Labus 5 carries for 82 yards out of the fullback position, folks. 210-pounder. 2nd and a long 6. Movement everywhere, both sides of the ball. Let's see whether the Clearwater line jumped early or if it was defensive encroachment.
Yeah.
Dead ball foul, snap infraction. The offensive team, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Snap infraction according to referee Randy Merrill. 2nd and 11 now, back to the 44-yard line. Kirby under center on 2nd and 11. Gives the ball to Miller. Miller will bounce it to the outside. Will not quite get that corner turn. Good play coming up from the secondary. Underneath was number 5, Antez Brinson, and on top was number 3, Wayne Wells.
Yes, they made very good pursuit that time coming from the secondary. The defense strings it out. You can see that time Crumbly coming from his linebacker position as well. And then you can see Wells just measuring him up and then hit him high, hit him low. Nice gang tackling that time by the Lakewood Spartans.
Especially coming up by that man right there. Shed the block and came up and made the hit.
3rd and long situation right now. You pretty much bet that number 2 would get the football, but Kirby in there, he can throw it. Maybe throw it to Miller coming out of the backfield.
Trips to this side. Miller, the lone back, on the counter to Labus. Labus will not quite get there. He picked up 8 and he needed 9. It's 4th and 1.5 maybe. Let's see whether Tom Bostic punts or goes for it. Decision time early in the 3rd quarter.
Well, he's got to play the field position game, and it looks like he is going to send Myers out there to punt it away. He has a 9-point lead. They probably made some adjustments at halftime defensively, so they want to pin Lakewood back, stop him, and let the time do the rest of the work.
Oh, indeed. As we talked about earlier in the first half, it's difficult for high school teams to drive the ball 80 yards. And you go for it here and you're stopped. You cut the field in half. Meyer on the punt. Deep man is Antez Brinson.
There's my fake earlier.
Your fake, James Miller. He's going to have it easily. Miller into the secondary, inside the 25, inside the 15, all the way inside the 10. They'll spot it right at the 10. It'll be 1st and goal from there for the Tornadoes, and so much for playing the field position game. Let's drive the nail into the coffin instead, says Tom Bostic.
This is the field position game. They run a nice fake. Miller, the up back. I have to believe that Lakewood, you have to be looking for it with Miller standing up there about 4 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and this is their punt, except they do it the way by letting Miller carry the football for about 40 yards down the field.
He rips it off. Down to the 10-yard line, a well-designed and a well-executed play. Myers sold the fake by jumping up as though the ball went up over his head. Never got to him, but that man must be in the drama class, Eric. Good acting there. Counter play. Miller will not get back. Didn't have that cutback lane he was looking for, and they drag him down right at the line of scrimmage.
Now, they've ran that play a couple times to that side now, and actually 3 times, and Lakewood's been able to come up and make the stop on Miller. Looking for a hole. But once again, number 46 getting into the backfield, Corey Crumbly. Now, he's listed as just a freshman. 6 foot, 210 pounds, so he's making his presence known tonight.
Freshman he's playing on the defensive line at the left defensive tackle position. Freshman with a bright future. 2nd and goal from the 10. Miller left side, smothered by Andre Davis.
Welcome to the jungle, says Andre Davis. He just laid a lick on him. You could hear that one up here, and Davis might have felt the brunt of that from Miller as well. Now, Miller's a hefty load to take down. Taking a look at it, and even in slow motion, watch Miller move to the right. He tried to make a cut, wanted to make another one of those patented spin moves, but Andre had nothing to do with that, and he may have taken maybe a little shot, might have pulled a muscle as well.
Looked like Derek Brooks coming up making that stop. Flew up there, and
you could hear the crowd, just a big ooh.
3rd and goal from the 10, slot to the left. Kirby, your quarterback. Play action. Kirby firing it, batted up in the air, and intercepted. And that's why the Tornadoes don't throw it much, Eric. Passing game not very precise. Had a receiver throw maybe a little behind him, batted up by an alert linebacker, and picked off in the end zone by the Spartans. They'll bring it out to the 20.
Lakewood doesn't fall for it. They drop back in the zone defense. They go for Brian Barrett, and there's our man, Andre Davis, and a diving interception by Wayne Wells. We talked about him and his rushing abilities, but as well as defensively. Comes up with a big play here and the big stop, the stop that Ryan Brooks' club was looking for.
Andre Davis trying to keep this Spartan team in the game. He's been outstanding. Linebacker drop, bats the ball up in the air, so that man right there, Wayne Wells, can pick it off with a diving effort in the end zone. Bring it out to the 20. Donnie Davis. Ball is on the ground. Davis picks it up and falls back to the 19 for a loss of 1.
We don't see that very often, the quarterback falling on the football, but in a big playoff game, you lose, you go home. Say, all right, the hurt's already done. We missed the handoff. I'm just going to fall on it.
That's an
Tries to give
play.
it up the middle.
And that time, he's reaching. Instead,
he looked like he tried to give him the football a little bit too far beyond.
Well, it's a ride up over the guard tackle area, and possibly the fullback, Church, the sophomore, did not run the right lane. And he's reading the play, not really looking at the fullback. He's reading who to give it to on the option. Look out. Going to run a play action. Athletic ability gets him out of traffic, trying to get it to MacArthur Church, but he short hops it, and they'll bring up 3rd and long.
For Lakewood, this possession is totally unraveling for them. Pressure last time came from Casey Blanton. This time DJ McDuffie gets in and makes Davis. He does well in getting out of the way, but Church is open. He just threw the ball a little too low. Roman Johnson that time in on the coverage.
3rd and 11 from the 19. 5:19 left in the 3rd quarter. The Tornadoes lead at 21-12. Slot to either side. Marcelo Church the lone back behind Donnie Davis. Straight back, stepping up, firing it deep. Wayne Wells out there, intercepted by Roshan Marshall. Roshan Marshall has it inside the 30, inside the 20. Roshan Marshall finally tackled by Donnie Davis down at about the marking out of bounds at the 16. He stepped out, and that is interception number 8 on the year with a 32-yard return on top of that. And this young man is an outstanding high school football player, Eric, and he is only a freshman.
Great concentration on the football. Davis, he can throw it a long ways, but this time he lets this one hang just a little bit too much. He was looking for Wayne Wells, and just a nice play, like a center fielder, just stepping in front of Wells and catches that football with his hand. Now take a look at him looking downfield, protecting the football, trying to make moves. And then he takes it to the outside and almost made it in a touchdown-saving tackle as they force him out of bounds to Lakewood.
Oh, it could have been a game-saving tackle, too, as you were about to say there by Donnie Davis. And the dominating D
This is what the Clearwater has done to opponents all season long. This isn't what they average. They've only allowed 9 points in the third quarter, 9 in the fourth quarter all season, and the one overtime was on the first game of the year against Dixie Holland. So,
and they are the #1 team defensively in the county for yards allowed, and #2 in points allowed behind Northeast. A great defensive unit, and that's a great play by a freshman, Eric. The receiver was underneath who could have made a ball adjustment catch it, and he, as you mentioned, made the ball adjustment himself and came up, picked it up with his hands high. All the things you see the college players and the pros do, and this kid's only a 9th grader.
And Roshan judged the ball already once it was in the air, and unfortunately for Lakewood, Wayne Wells had his momentum going with him, so it took him out of the play. You can watch Roshan now. See, he's already judging it, and he comes up and makes the reception. Actually, he made that on the other side of the 50, so we can probably give him a few more yards on that return as well. Wooten couldn't come up with a tackle. He's just avoiding people. Needs to learn how to keep that football and break it to the left side.
Wayne Wells, the man down, back up where the play was intended. It looks like he's got some severe cramps. We're going to take a timeout. We have 5:03 remaining in the third quarter. Clearwater leading at 21-12. You are watching the high school football game of the week on Time Warner's Channel 7. Wayne Wells has been assisted off the field. Hopefully he'll be okay. He looks pretty shaky. I don't know if he's got severe cramps or what it is. Anyway, Clearwater with a 1st and 10 from the 12 of Lakewood, leading at 21-12, 5:03 left third quarter. Trips to the wide side. Labus up the middle. Labus inside the 10. And they'll spot him at the 5. They started at the 16-yard line, not the 12. Makes a nice run of it. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 5-yard line for the Tornadoes.
Well, you have to like the call by Clearwater. Huge hole that time. Look at Labus just running up through there. Has nice vision. Lakewood wrapping him up and making the tackle. They lined up Miller that time, trips to the right side, and they just left Labus as a single setback. And so you knew what was coming, but you still picked up a good chunk of yardage on 1st down, as we were talking about in the first half. They're able to pick up yardage, big yardage on 1st down.
It's tough to play when it's always 2nd and short, or it's 1st down again after your 1st down play. 1st and goal. Toss the ball to Miller, trying to get to the outside. Can he turn the corner? He does. 5-yard touchdown run off the right side for James Miller. That's his 3rd touchdown rushing of this contest. And the Tornadoes now lead it by the score of 27-12.
Well, it is definitely Miller time, and Miller time almost didn't make it into the end zone. He had wide open space here to the right side. You can almost see they started to slow down a little bit. Then he picked up his speed until Brenson was able to drag him down in the end zone. But Miller, 3 touchdowns. He's thrown 1. Now he's got to rush and get off the field as Hahn attempts the extra point.
David Hahn out of the hold of Nick Kirby. Kick is up. Didn't get all this one, but he got it down the middle, and it will count just the same. It's now 28-12 with 4:23 left in the third quarter of play.
The soldier needs to go up a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the ROTC exactly. Youngsters there.
But when you see somebody in the camos,
he'll learn once he gets into boot camp if he's going to go into the military, as you were. You can tell him all about it, right?
That's right. We usually have push-up contests there on the set before Sports Report, and our director and, of course, our statistician tonight usually get into the push-ups. I've yet to get down there and show them the proper way of doing that to Ken O'Leary and Brian Syracuse. Show them how to do the push-up.
I think the only thing those guys are pushing up are hamburgers to their mouths before the show. Here we are. Hi, Mom.
Here's Brian. He was shaking his head earlier like, yeah, this guy's going to show me how to do push-ups.
28-12, your score. Hope you're enjoying Time Warner's coverage of the high school football game of the week. David Hahn getting set to kick it off deep. Deontay Bolden and Antez Brinson, your twin safeties for the Spartans, back at their goal line. High, deep kick once again, and Brinson 2 yards deep will not be able to bring it out in high school football. And that's the 3rd touchback of the contest for David Hahn, who's doing an outstanding job.
I tell you, it's just a field position game, and besides the the turnover earlier in the contest for Lakewood when they went in March. They've been kept on their side of the field, and like you said, you know, when you have to have a team drive 80 or more yards in high school football, it's a lot to ask for them, especially against this Clearwater defense.
Heck, Trent Dilfer and the Buccaneers can't do it, Eric. How do you expect the high school team to do it all the time? Scoring summary.
I tell you, James Miller, what an evening, 143 yards. That's almost about a little more than 6 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns.
Davis looking for the out pattern, has MacArthur Church. He'll pick up about 5, gang tackled by that swarming Tornado secondary. 5, 6, and 9. Marshall, Johnson, and McDuffie all in there on the stop.
I say coming into this game, I'd like to see Lakewood throw toward MacArthur Church 10 times at least in this ball game. Well, now they're down by 16. It might surpass that. This is the 6th attempt they've went his way. And each time on that out pattern, Brian, they've picked up a good chunk, 5, 6 yards. Why not try it maybe a little deeper down the field next time?
Let's see if they're trying to set up the out and up pattern, the down, out, and down, whatever you want to call it. Andre Davis trying to move that pile forward. A lot of hitting going on in the middle of the pile.
Now's when it gets interesting there, Brian. You know, we're approaching the end, 3 minutes, 33 seconds here in the third quarter. And as I was talking about earlier, for some of these seniors, this is going to be the last football game, organized football game they're ever going to play. So this is when they really have to pick up their game. And a lot of heart out there is going to be left on the field for somebody.
Third and 2. It's a long 2. They need to get to the 30-yard line. Slot to either side. Andre Davis, your lone back. He takes it up the middle. We'll have the first down and some as he gets it out to the 38-yard line.
I think Chris Myers that time, he made a nice tackle on Andre Davis, but I don't know if he was ducking his head to get out of the way because this is a boatload coming at him. Just puts his head down, and he does wrap him up, and then his help there is by Roman Johnson. But I tell you, Andre Davis is going to be one heck of a fullback. He already is, but to watch him next season as well.
Chris Meyer just hung on for the ride that time.
Yeah.
Ride that big horse. Finally got him down. First and 10 from the 38. Nothing there this time. Falls forward for a yard or maybe 2.
That time the big horse was wrapped up in the backfield by Casey Blanton. Casey, penetration there from the outside. He's going to come right around. You see him hitting low. Andre's trying to spin out of the tackle, but by that time, everybody wearing red is able to pile on.
Casey Blanton's had a great year. 41 tackles, a sack, 10 of those super plays, one of the leaders in that category. Second down and 8. Marcelo Church now in at the fullback. Davis trying to step up and air it out deep. Great coverage again and almost intercepted again by Roshan Marshall. He was running stride for stride. Actually had a step on the intended receiver, MacArthur Church, and he looked like the intended receiver.
He certainly did. I'd like to see to have a talk with Roshan Marshall and see who he emulates his game after, because this is just perfect coverage. He was not fooled by the down, out, and down. It's something that you and I were talking about earlier. We'd like to see Lakewood run, but he's actually ahead, and he made a similar interception against Pinellas Park, just like that play there, but that one just slips off his fingers.
It was a tough one to judge over that outside shoulder coming out of those lights. Third and 8, the ball at the 40. You need to get it out to the 48. Davis in the shotgun. They roll it back, but he fields it. Looking for the middle screen, has it to Marcelo Church, but wrapping him up right there is big number 84, Chad Miltner, the senior defensive end. Stayed home and read that play perfectly.
You said it exactly. Stayed home. The blitz will come up through the middle. DJ McDuffie coming in. So is Knudsen. But then taking down the ball carrier. Also in on the tackle, Casey Blanton. So Chad Miltner.
The senior defensive end, Eric, both of the senior defensive ends getting the job done. Wooten's punt, low end over end, fielded by Boshan Mack at his 27. We'll try to get to the outside. He's the speedster as he gets across the 35. And they'll spot him at the 36-yard line. Brought down out there by 32, Lamar Mills, a senior.
Low line drive punt. Boshan Mack. You see he's got like a wall of tacklers in front of him as he'll try to get to the outside, and nice coverage that time by Lakewood. And actually, Ryder Wooten had a little bit more time to punt that one.
Yes, he did. 1:19 remaining In the third quarter, 28-12, the Tornadoes, they have the ball once again. They'll have the offset I formation with Miller, the tailback. He'll take the toss to this side, cut it back, and he'll wedge forward for a gain of about 3.
Well, now the clock is the friend of the Clearwater Tornadoes and the foe of Lakewood as you look at Miller. And Miller and Labus tonight are quite a combination. Both of them now are over 100 yards on the evening. Labus has just over 100 yards on 7 carries. And Miller, you saw his numbers earlier, he's approaching the 150-yard mark. He's had about 23 touches on the evening.
That's your story. Less than a minute left in the third quarter. The Tornadoes lead it by 16. So still within 2 scores are the Spartans. A couple touchdowns and 2-point conversions, but they need to start making something happen for them. First thing they could do right here is get a stop and get the ball back, hopefully in better field position than they've had it here in the third quarter.
Definitely. That's the 2 key words, field position. I mean, they really need to stop Clearwater here, maybe get a good rush on the punt, have a nice return, several different things that you could do if you're in the uniform of the white and black and gold for the Spartans that they could do right now to help out their cause.
Third and a long 6. Offset I. Labus and Miller are your running backs. Here comes the blitz. Give the ball on the counter to Mack. Mack will have the first down. He was 1 step away from taking it the distance. Andre Davis and Julian Smith. Julian Smith, number 9, has been on a lot of tackles this evening, making a play.
And so is Andre Davis. They run the fake this time up the middle to Labus. And then just right around the hole, it's there for Beauchamp. Mack has great speed, and Andre Davis not full, but he saved the touchdown right there, as you were talking about. Move the chains.
That's the final play of the third quarter with the score. Clearwater 28, Lakewood 12. We'll take a timeout and be back with fourth quarter action. The winner advances in the 5A state playoffs. You're watching the high school football game of the week on Time Warner's Channel 7. Barnox, Derek Keaton back with you at Clearwater High School. Hope you're enjoying Time Warner's coverage of the opening round of the 5A state football tournament. The Clearwater Tornadoes have had the answers so far for the Lakewood Spartans. They lead it by 16 at 28-12. 1 quarter of football to play. 1st and 10 from their own 48. On the counter, Labus hitting the backfield. Joe Goodboo says, not this time, Mr. Labus, as he puts his 220-pound frame into him to bring him down for a loss.
Labus there along with Charles Robinson. Kirby just turned around, basic right mill, and Goodboo's there, and then Robertson's going to hang on for the ride as well. Wants to get his assist in. Goodboo having a good night. You know, Coach Brook had said his defensive line had been a little inconsistent. They've come to play tonight, and they've done a very good job, especially from Andre Davis, stepping his game up, coming up in the middle linebacker position.
2nd and 11. Play action, Kirby. Looking out this way, and he hit number 14, Kelvin Glenn, in the hands, but Kelvin could not hold on to it.
Glenn, 6 catches on the season for 117 yards. It's almost a 20-yard average. And play action works. Glenn's open. He just can't hang on to it.
It's not pretty, but it got out there, and the defensive back fell down. If Kelvin could have held on to it, he might have been able to turn it up for further damage.
Kirby now over 3. Has thrown an interception.
The Tornadoes trying to get that passing game working, but has not been effective except for the halfback pass from Miller.
Yeah,
to
Miller
Meyer.
runs the football.
3rd and 11. On the draw, Miller. And cannot break the tackle of Ryder Wooten. He makes a nice play at the midfield stripe after a gain of about 3. It'll be 4th and 8 in a punting situation coming up for the Tornadoes. Apparently, last time they faked it from this position on the field, but it was a shorter distance to go. It wasn't 8 yards.
They run the draw, and you can see Frederick Wainwright's going to come up, try to make a tackle, but he does force Miller to try to make a move, and that gives time for Ryder Wooten to come over there and put the tackle on him.
Good point. He made him go back inside where he had some help, Eric, and that's what you need to do. If you get the guy outside, you don't have as much help out there. So he did a good job of turning him back into the pursuit. Meyer, your punter. Antez Brinson standing back at his 15. This time he kicks it away. It's high and short. Going to bounce and be downed by Chad Miltner, right at the 24-yard line. 10:25 left in this one. The Tornadoes lead it by 16, and the Spartans need to put a drive together.
Definitely. Last drive that they had the football, Brian, for 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes, 4 minutes and 44 seconds, but they only had 7 plays and 19 yards, and you can't do that against Coach Bostic's defense. You have to move the football, and they're going to have to move it quicker and get some quick scores.
Both coaches, Tom Bostic, Brian Burke, pacing the sideline, knowing there's a lot riding on this last 10:25. Donnie Davis, slot to either side. Going to give the ball to his fullback, Marcelo Church, and he will not get very far, maybe a half a yard, and that's it.
Well, now that, as I said earlier, the clock is the enemy, and a yard here and a 2 yards here is not going to work for you. Obviously, Clearwater made some adjustments at the half, and they're looking for the fullback up the middle. They're looking for Davis. They're looking for Marcelo Church. Donnie Davis is going to have to put the game in his hands and throw it downfield.
And that time, Casey Blanton was right there to make the play. Second, we'll call it 10. Virtually no gain on the play. On the counter, Antez Brinson will try to bounce it outside. Gets one block, but cannot turn that corner. Coming up again hard from the secondary, Roshan Marshall, Roman Johnson, and company.
The entire defensive unit of Clearwater, just an aggressive and quick, and they speed, and they work so well together. Look at Myers this time, aware of the tackler, and then Blanton as well, coming all the way over from his defensive end position, the secondary, making the tackles, able to work off those wide receiver blocks.
And Roshan Marshall, we talked about his interceptions, great coverage. He came up and made a nice, clean stick that time to bring down the runner. Brinson did not really need the help that he got.
And I don't think he's a freshman anymore. 10 games into the season, everybody's challenged him, and he's answered every time.
He's a veteran. 3rd down and 8. Brinson in motion. Davis under pressure, using the athletic ability to get out of it. Now we'll turn it up and try to run it. Davis will be very close to the first down. It depends on the spot. It will be very close, and I think he has it, Eric.
Yeah, he needed to get very close to the 35-yard line, actually just above the 34, and now the referee is signaling first down. So Donnie Davis, unlike a pro quarterback in town, able to read the field and run for a first down.
Boy, has this been Bash Trent Dilfer night or what?
I think that's only my first time. That's only my first time.
I'm the guilty party from the previous comparisons to number 12 wearing the pewter. Toss the ball. This is Deontay Bolden. He'll cut it back. There's a marker. This one will probably come back after a gain of about 4 on the play.
Just going to say, you haven't seen that flag come out in a long time for Lakewood, where they would shoot themselves in the foot. And usually when you see something like this, it's happening in the backfield, a clip by somebody or a hold, and going to bring up first in very long yardage situation now.
Holding on the offensive team, 10-yard penalty, spot of the foul, replay, first down.
Well, Randy Merrill's crew, we haven't seen them, Eric. You can get to the tournament, I think they always bring a crew in from another area, another district. So not a crew we're familiar with, but they've been on top of most of the calls this evening. And I guess these guys on the side being warmed up for the helmet cam. It's not quite out yet with 8:18 counting remaining and a 16-point Tornado lead. Davis in the shotgun. Gets a good block from Church, steps up and fires it, and incomplete off the hands of Antez Brinson.
Led his receiver just a little bit. Now they're both looking at each other, trying to communicate, saying you led me a little bit. Davis saying I thought it was there. You picked it up right away. The good block on McDuffie by Marcelo Church.
He only got his right hand out. He's got to get both hands out before the game. They were working over on the sidelines, catching the football and using the hands out there, and that time he didn't get both hands out.
Donnie Davis tonight, 5 of 16, 31 yards and 1 interception.
2nd and about 23. Ball's on the ground, and the Tornadoes have it.
Well, Brian, I don't know if this was a bad snap or if they were trying to snap the ball to Andre Davis.
Looked like DJ McDuffie and also helping out Kyle Knudsen on the recovery. That ball just...
Yeah, I just think it was a bad snap.
Back. Maybe the perspiration, the sweat. The ball never got back. It rolled, and
After
primary recovery man there was DJ McDuffie, the senior.
Well, if Clearwater scores here, that helmet cam we were just talking about is going to be rolling out any minute now.
1st and 10 from the Lakewood 22. Kirby remains in a quarterback run blitz. Miller gets it anyway. Miller defended right at the 20-yard line. He's going to say, my legs weren't down. Let's see, it's going to be interesting.
They blew the whistle.
I think that was Antron Hester, 22, on the apparent stop. Let's see.
We'll see Miller's balance. Hester hitting him square on.
The ball's down and his shoulders are down. His legs weren't. That's a good call by the officiating crew. If the ball touched the ground along with your shoulders, you're down even though your feet are still up. I mean, his whole chest basically was down.
Hey, but you keep going. He didn't hear the whistle,
great
so he
balance.
kept going.
Great balance by the young man. Most people have been laying flat on their stomach after a hit like that. 2nd and 8. Right at the 20-yard line. Miller right side. Now they're just trying to run that clock out, Eric, and punch it in for one more score against, again, running behind the big offensive front. They've done a great job so far in this contest.
But they've done a wonderful job all evening long. Roger Chaitlin over there as well. The center, Anthony Rodriguez, Holt. Of course, you have Brian Bird, the tight end.
Chris Carruthers, 74, is now in, the sophomore, 6'1", 256. He's playing left tackle.
Brent Bingham in a guard.
3rd and 5. Backs in the I formation are Labus and Miller. Labus up the middle trying to fool them, and he'll be close. I think he may have it.
You have to know in that huddle right now that Don Labus is wanting to get into the end zone. Miller's been running up the 6s, throwing for 6. Labus tonight already over 100 yards on the evening. He'd like to score one as well.
What a great change of pace he has been this evening, Eric, for Clearwater and Miller. They're looking for Miller to start keying on him, and Labus is going to break one up the middle. Nothing fancy. Just gets up there in a hurry and uses that big frame to bounce off of tacklers. 1st and 10 from the 11. Miller this time will try to bounce it to the outside. Breaks one tackle inside the 5. Spun down at about the 2. Touchdown saving tackle by MacArthur Church wearing number 1.
I tell you, James Miller just loves to throw his body around. MacArthur Church is going to get credit for this tackle, but Mike Schaub is going to slow down Miller right there. It's going to force him, trips him up just a little bit. Brenson giving chase, and the flip as Miller trying to go up top, and Church doing the right thing and taking out his legs before he can get into the end zone.
Brenson pushed him over right through the tackle of Church. 2nd and 2. They can get a 1st down inside the 1. Offset I. Miller to the right side. Miller will try to cut it up, and he's going to lose some yardage. They'll spot it back at about the 5-yard line. Good defense that time by the Lakewood Spartans.
Definitely good defense. Frederick Wainwright out there coming up from his safety position, forcing the issue. Miller had nowhere to go. That was his 28th carry on the evening, but he did lose some yardage. That'll put him at around 160 for the night.
See the clock, just under 5 minutes remaining now. They will call a timeout. Well, Lakewood, they know the importance of this. They want to come up with a stop on 3rd down and 4, and 3rd and 5 for a touchdown, 3rd and 4.5 for a 1st down. I want to remind you, we'll be at Largo High School on December the 16th for the Palms Pinellas Senior All-Star Classic. We'll replay the game on the 18th, 19th, 20th, and 23rd at 10, 1, 9, and 9 p.m. respectively. Should be a great one. Finest senior football players in Pinellas County teeing it up, Eric, one last time.
They will have all types of coaches from across the country, mainly from around the eastern side, checking out their playing ability. The coaches vote on who they feel should be in the game. You know, you have guys who normally line up against each other playing side by side. The best of the best.
It's always been a good contest, and it's been a good showcase for a lot of these athletes. Some of these athletes coming out of here have gotten scholarships because of this game. Otis Dixon over USF really shined in this game, and they've really put him over the top with USF deciding to offer him a scholarship. Labus straight up the middle will take it in for the 5-yard Clearwater touchdown. 4:54 remaining in this one. 34-12. It has been all Clearwater Tornadoes here in the second half.
Well, they've been sharing some of the carry tonight. Why not share some of the touchdown glory as well for the Clearwater Tornadoes? Labus just putting his head down, and you have to like the way he was protecting the football when he went across the goal line. He knows, look, if I don't make it, I'm still not going to give up the football, and he goes in for 6.
David Hahn on to attempt the extra point. Your holder is the quarterback, Nick Kirby. Kick is up, and it is through. 35-12 is your score. 4:54 remaining. The Clearwater Tornadoes have shut out the Lakewood Spartans here in the second half.
Well, they definitely made some adjustments at halftime, Brian. Obviously now the running game is out of the question for Lakewood, as Coach Brook is going to get his troops over on the sideline and say, look, you have 4 minutes and 54 seconds left in your season, and Coach Bostic's team will advance to the next round. So they have to put the football in the air and make something happen. And now David Hahn is getting ready to kick off for Clearwater, and he's been the weapon, just pinning them back, kicking that ball into the end zone. And why do anything different if you're Clearwater?
That strong leg, and not only does he kick it a good distance, he gets it up in the air.
Yes.
If they had a chance to return that, they'd have a lot of people down there in their face. He's going to make somebody a nice college kicker because they like that height. A lot of guys can kick it deep, Eric, but it goes a line drive. If you don't hit it perfectly, it's a good return ball. His balls are not good return balls. He gets a lot of height on it and good distance.
Get that height and give him a chance to get down there and get in a position to make a tackle and pin that team below, inside the 20.
David Hahn was also the homecoming king here in Clearwater High School.
We had a string there for a while in the games of the week. The players were also the homecoming king. I'm going to squib this one.
That time he's going to roll it. And it's picked up by number 20, Greg Taylor, the opposite place kicker. So these place kickers, they do everything in high school football.
Well, yeah. Squib the kick, give Lakewood the ball on the 40. Now it's up to the defense. They have a 3-touchdown lead. Now once again, old number 5 out there, number 6 and 4. And Ali Khashoggi, 39, are going to be challenged. Johnson, Roshan Marshall, and Bo Mack, the secondary unit. And so far they've answered tonight. They haven't allowed a real big play.
You see that last scoring drive, Labus's numbers, 11 carries, 113 yards, and a touchdown. Miller is also well over 100 yards with 3 touchdowns rushing, 1 touchdown passing. The offensive backfield has gotten the job done this evening. And speaking of the Clearwater secondary, Eric, not only have they gotten it done this evening, they've gotten it done the entire year. They're an outstanding unit, both against the run and the pass.
Definitely. And one thing that Coach Bostic has said, he's like, I want the other teams to challenge our secondary because they've stepped their game up each and every week. They've came to play. They've not been intimidated by the other teams because it seems like each week the opposing team says, we're going to challenge that secondary because the defensive front is so strong and they stop the run. Hasn't worked.
Well, there's a dead ball infraction. It'll be a 5-yard penalty marched off against Lakewood. Or the Lakewood Spartans have called a timeout. I stand correct. The Lakewood Spartans have called a timeout.
A couple of big guys there from the offensive line. Brent Bingham and also Roger Chaitlin. Mr. Heiss getting his look in on the camera.
And Charlie Heiss was offering his helmet.
I think he was offering it for the helmet cam. I think he was just saying Clearwater Tornadoes.
I don't know. 4:20 remaining, timeout on the field. We will have a game for you next week. Their bucket truck, Glenn Richard. Up there in the spacious confines, once again, of the bucket truck. He's got a little hole there to stick his leg out of the side of, Eric. Davis rolling out, gets a vicious block, dumps the ball out over the middle of MacArthur Church. Referee was going to throw a flag for a clip on that block, but then decided that the helmet, I guess, was in front of the shoulder pad.
No huddle coming up now for Lakewood. It was a vicious block. But Marcelo Church that time in on that reception out of the backfield. Not believe they picked up enough for the first down. It is going to be very short yardage. And now it looks like the referee is going to measure this one.
Going to bring the chains across.
stops the clock in just under 4 minutes, so it does Lakewood a favor. Here's that block again. Casey Blanton gets taken out. Antez Brinson with the block. Nice pass that time by Davis.
And the sophomore Marcelo Church doing a nice job of turning it up.
Looking upfield, trying to find a lane to run in.
And that's close, folks.
Yeah, they're very short.
It's about an inch and a half maybe. But who's counting at this point? The ball almost on the midfield stripe. Just under 4 minutes remaining. 35-12. It's been all Clearwater here in the second half. They have scored 14 unanswered points. It was 21-12 Clearwater at the half. And actually in the contest, Eric, they have scored 21 unanswered points.
Davis now 7 of 18. Needs to get a big hitter, though.
4th and inches. I'll tell you what, I don't know.
You might have lost the football. Clearwater saying they fumbled, and they did. Lakewood fumbled, and coming up with it is going to be Chad Miltner.
So insult to injury for the Spartans, trying to get it, and that ball just never got in there to Marcelo Church. They hit him, and it just rolled forward. Now the Tornadoes have it at their own 49.
Well, total second half effort by the Lakewood Spartans. Just have not been able
Well, we got
to
number
get
12 in the
going.
game, a quarterback, and we don't know who he is. We'll try to find out for you. Brought up from the JV team, I imagine, is Trey Garrison. So Trey Garrison is a sophomore quarterback at 6'2", 165. I think we're going to see a lot of those guys in here right now, Eric. A lot of the young folks.
Still doesn't beat that time when you have guys out here with numbers. At a game in Hillsborough last season when the entire arena thought that one young man was making these plays after plays, and then at halftime, interviewing the coach, he's like, well, that's not Jackson, that's actually Tony Harrison. I forget the young man's name, but...
well, thanks for telling us before the game, right, Coach? Joe Dennis, 33, also in the game. He is a freshman running back. He's got the ball. Joe Dennis turning it upfield. Joe Dennis with the fresh legs, an impressive run. Picks up about 7 yards, 8 yards, and a first down to move the chains.
You said it right there. The fresh legs, as now the starters are going to be on the sidelines for the Clearwater Tornadoes. Rest up for round number 2, and they're going to move on. And some of these guys getting into the game now for the Clearwater Tornadoes. The fresh legs will churn up some yards, keep that clock moving.
And those are the guys we will see in the future, Eric. This kid, Joe Dennis, at number 33, the freshman, 5'11", 189, already good size. You saw he has pretty good speed and moves right there. Your sophomore quarterback, Trey Garrison, in the game. Good size at 6'2". And there's a delay of game penalty, I imagine, with 2:31 remaining here. Number 40 also in the game, Troy Hauser, a sophomore, out at the wide receiver position. 22, Brad Kendall, a senior in at split end.
It's also a chance for some people who normally wouldn't get to play, like some of these juniors and seniors that have been on the varsity squad the entire season, to get in there and get some experience.
Well, 28, Ryan Vaught, one of those guys. He's a sophomore fullback in the game. There's
Brian, you can see the biggest weapon, James Miller, taking on the weapon that they will use on the coach. So I would suggest that right there, Coach Bostic is going to be one wet individual to talk to after this game.
Well, fortunately, he's got a warm evening here in November. Unseasonably warm evening on a Friday night in November. And as a false start by the offense, Brian Vaught got his first opportunity. The 160-pound sophomore fullback had some good yardage, it looked like, but it's going to come back because of a false start.
Well, you have a unit in there now that used to playing with each other on JV. They're mixing in some JV and some varsity guys. And these guys aren't going to go out there and just run out the clock. They're wanting to impress the coach, possibly get some playing time.
Indeed.
Have their parents in the stands. They're getting an opportunity to play. They're just not going to roll over.
They're getting their AT also here. their air time and want to show they can play on the varsity level. Vaught carries again, spins forward to about the 35-yard line for a gain of about 3.
Well, Lakewood gave it a big fight in the first half. Just Clearwater had that string, Brian, of scoring 3 consecutive possessions and was able to forge ahead with the lead, and Lakewood had their chances and weren't able to take advantage of what turnovers they had. It's like Jaws.
There it is. The helmet cam is back. This baby must be in the books. 35-12 with just under 2 minutes. You see the time remaining. It even has a clock in it.
I bet your kids on campus brag. That was my helmet they were using.
There's your freshman again, 33, Joe Dennis. This time Lakewood doing a good job of running him down. A lot of new jerseys in also for the Lakewood Spartans. Clean jerseys, I guess I should say.
Take a look at Bo Mack. Here's James Miller. Miller, 3 touchdowns tonight. He's grabbing that face mask. Timmy needs to look out down there.
Thank you, Mr. Woodcock, and his sponsor for the Clearwater 5 varsity cheerleading squad.
The helmet cam almost got attacked there.
I'm telling you. Some of the guys, maybe one guy not in the ball game yet, was wanting to make a tackle. Tim's lucky he escaped with his life.
3rd down and 7. And a delay of game again, I guess. 58 seconds remaining. This one is deteriorating rapidly here with less than a minute remaining.
Well,
so Clearwater will play at Lakeland next week against the dreaded Dreadnoughts, no pun intended, but they are an outstanding football team.
And they just made the announcement here, so you can assume that I guess they know that Lakeland has won their football game tonight, which would be no secret. They are the #1 team in 5A, and they've just destroyed their competition all season long.
Well, if Northeast won this evening, we'll be down at Northeast next week. If not, we'll have to let you know what we're going to be doing. There's a fine run here by your sophomore quarterback, Trey Garrison, still on his feet. Garrison inside the 15. And the sophomore coming in saying, I'm going to make the most of my playing time with a couple of juniors in front of him. He's got the good body, and he also runs as well as the guys ahead of him that are juniors.
You're right. Some of the guys on the Lakewood side need to realize that these guys, as you say, are wanting their air time, and they're not going to give up. Some of these guys have not seen varsity action all season, and they played their last game several weeks ago as a member of the JV at the end of October, so they're wanting to get in here into some live contact.
Yeah, they've been practicing against the big boys every day, so they're probably getting a little frustrated. They haven't had a game for a couple of weeks. Now they get an opportunity to play. On the other side, you see the dejected Lakewood Spartans. They've had a fine season. Brian Brooks' group. A little too much this evening. The Tornadoes, a tough team to run the ball against. Lakewood could not really get a passing attack, an effective passing attack going. They had a few guys break open, but just couldn't click on the passes, and it's tough to run the ball, make a living anyway running the ball, Eric, against this Clearwater Tornado team.
But Lakewood did it better than any team has done this season. However, in the second half, Coach Bostic and his defensive coordinator, Rick Rodriguez, they made some adjustments, and they came out and just stuffed the Lakewood Spartan running attack.
Ryan Vaught, sophomore fullback, with a nice carry inside the 5. They'll spot him at the 4. Clock is running with 30 seconds left. This should be the last play, barring a penalty. It looks like the Tornadoes will take a knee, and they do. Class move there by Tom Bostic. The score not in doubt has Trey Garrison, the sophomore, take a knee. 35-12 is your final. The Tornadoes will advance and probably go to Lakewood or Lakeland next week to play the Dreadnoughts. We'll take a timeout. Be back with our post-game show. You see the Gatorade coming out again in water. You are watching the high school football game of the week.
They got it recorded, Brian.
And the game ball also on Time Warner's Channel 7. Well,
Welcome back to Jack White Stadium, where the Clearwater Tornadoes have advanced to round number 2 by defeating the Lakewood Spartans 35-12. Eric Keaton alongside James Miller, the 9th best rusher in the state of Florida. And James, you guys had some early problems in the first half. You fumbled the football, but that did not seem to upset your game whatsoever.
No, it didn't. And our offense did real good, so offensive line was blocking. I just had to do my job.
You talk about...
Did real good.
Excuse me, you talk about that offensive line and also your fullback. Talk a little bit about him, Don Labus. Really open up some holes for you and also carries a lot of some of the mileage for you where you don't have to as well.
Yeah, he blocked real good and he run real good. So everybody on the team did their job. It's a team game.
That's right, it's a team game. And they also have a team on defense. James, thanks for joining us. Bring on a guy, freshman Roshan Marshall. We talked about James being 9th in the state. This young man right here is with 8 interceptions now, would put him in the top 3 of the state. Roshan, you're a freshman. Who have you emulated your game after? Because you certainly don't play like a freshman.
Well, I just go out there and play hard. I try to be like Deion Sanders a little bit, but I just go out there and play hard, do what I got to do, get the interception.
Roshan, how have you stepped up your game each week? Because you know every opposing coach says, I'm going to challenge that freshman out there, and each week you just step up your game.
I just go out there and practice, look at my scout report, study receiver patterns, and come out here on Friday and just play hard. That's all I got to do.
All right, Roshan, thanks a lot for joining us. Bring on the coach. Thanks a lot. Great game. He stepped up every week, 11 weeks, and I was talking with Coach Bostic right after the game, and for the first time since 1983, you said that you're going to be coaching a game after Thanksgiving.
Right. We've coached a lot of bowl games, and we've been in the playoffs, 5 years in a row, 4 years in a row or something like that now. And this year we finally have gone beyond that first round, so we're really looking forward to it.
You were also talking to your club about adjustments. They ran up 142 yards on you, I believe, around that area in the first half. But the second half, you guys shut them down. What did you say to your ball club?
I didn't say a whole lot. I left that up to Rick. Rick Rodriguez, my defensive coordinator. And, you know, he develops a defense, and I let him go with it. I might make suggestions every now and then, but he went in there, and what we had to do was shut that fullback down. The fullback was just running wild the first half. So a couple minor things in there, a little more looking for him, and he didn't do much second half.
Next week, probably the biggest challenge of your coaching career, #1 team in the state in the Lakeland Dreadnoughts.
I'll tell you what, it sure will be. But, you know, I keep telling our kids, they're the games you play for. You don't play for the ones that you know you're going to win by 60 points. It's the ones you really have a challenge, and it'll be a challenge.
It definitely will, Coach. You had a challenge tonight, and you came up with a big victory, and he has the game ball as well. Thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations.
Okay,
it's a 23-point win for the Clearwater Tornadoes. Brian and I will be right back with your second half highlights and your full game stats.
Well, the Clearwater Tornadoes have advanced in the Class 5A football tournament, defeating the Lakewood Spartans by the score of 35-12. Brian Unk's back along with Eric Keaton. Let's take a look now at the second half highlights. And we'll start with Lakewood's Donnie Davis going back to pass, and the freshman Roshan Marshall picks off number 8 on the year.
You know, they're trying to get a big hitter down the field. And Marshall, you heard him talking right on their post-game show. He tries to emulate Deion Sanders. Well, there he does his best impersonation, running the football down the field. About the only thing he didn't do on this play was running in for 6.
Takes it all the way down inside the 20. Spot him out at the 16. That sets up this play right here. It's 21-12. James Miller takes it off the right side, 5 yards to make it 28-12.
It was Miller time all night tonight. This was his 3rd rushing touchdown. Threw one in the first half to Chris Myers. Number 2 just finding his home, and that's in the end zone.
Lakewood will try to come back. Clearwater has given up only 25 points in the second half all year. This play never developed. The Tornadoes were tough the entire evening.
No, we had problems seeing it. Thought maybe that they were running just a short pitch there to Andre Davis, but he fumbles the football, and Clearwater would take advantage of it.
That sets up the Don Labus 5-yard run. He had over 100 yards. Good to see him get in the end zone also.
Exactly. Labus, you know, saying, hey, look, I've been blocking all night. It's time for me to be rewarded, and he scores his 6th.
35-12, your final, and it's all Clearwater. The statistics, remember, were fairly even at the half, but it was all Clearwater in the second half.
In the first half, about 142 yards rushing for Lakewood. You can see that Clearwater made their adjustments at halftime, and also Lakewood had no turnovers. They come up with 3 in the second.
We'll have a game for you next week. We just don't know right now, due to the outcomes of the other games, where we'll be. If Northeast won, we'll be at Northeast. If not, well, we'll have to let you know where we'll be. You can read it in the paper, and we'll talk about it probably in our volleyball game Tuesday night also.
Exactly. We'll talk about it. We'll be at Keswick Christian on Tuesday night for the Senior Series All-Star game.
All right, final score once again, 35-12. We're going to wrap things up right now. Tonight's game, I want to remind you, was brought to you in part by Sunset Stitches in the Pinellas Square Mall. Call them at 522-6267. For my broadcast partner, Eric Keaton, producer Brian Siracusa, director Ed Botker, and everyone else here at the award-winning Time Warner Communications crew, I'm Brian Unks. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Until then, take care, everyone.